this?
Welcome to the Killer Comics Show.
Welcome to the Killer Comics Show. Oh, mate. Yes.
That was a bit tasty, wasn't it?
It works so well.
That was awesome. Well done, Thomas.
That's the first
that is,
and last rave I will ever be at.
Yeah. That
You're welcome.
Amazing. That was wicked. That was great. Well done, Tom. All that hard work has paid off, and you can go to bed now.
I'm off. See you later.
That's been when he's been telling everyone he's been a fireman. He hasn't. He's been working on that since September last year.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And it was worth
How are we, guys? How are we?
Tom?
I was waiting for you, mate. You go first. Ladies first and all that.
Oh, well. Okay. I'm absolutely fantastic. 50 shows. Congrats to us, congrats to Charlie, congrats to Tom, congrats to everybody that's been involved, past and present, congrats to everybody that watches us every single week. We appreciate it, and we have so much to come for 2022. You have no idea, and I'm really looking forward to another great show.
Thomas?
I totally agree, mate. I'm very good. I'm very happy. I've had some awesome emails today. So I'm happy as Larry, mate. Happy to be here for our 50th show, and what an achievement, boys. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, we've cried, we've laughed, and without you two, this year would have been poo. So thank you very much. I've loved it. And everyone in the chat, you have made it such an enjoyable 50 shows. There's probably not one, there probably is one that I haven't enjoyed, but every other show has been absolutely amazing. So thank you all, especially those of you that come every single week and chat away to us. It really does mean a lot. So thanks, guys.
Talking about people in the chat, that was a perfect segue, Tom. There we go. We've got Phil. Hooray, made it in time for the good seats. Yes, you did. First. There we go. We've got James. Is this where the cool kids hang out? Yes, it is, because right now it's safe to say I'm hanging out. Okay.
Nice.
And then I just came back with that one. We had Tom with Bonjour, and I kind of circled back round and said to James, of your trousers, or where are we at with this?
Where's he coming out from?
Exactly. We've got Fuzzy done that evening while we'll be listening along whilst eating my dinner. James said, always, Charles, always. Triple G says, congrats on the 50 shows, gang. Thank you very much, Triple G. Thank you very much, sir. I asked Fuzzy what he had for his dinner, and what do you think Fuzzy had for his dinner? What do you think he's eating?
Something deep fried.
Yeah, or like something really like you wouldn't expect, like something like a salad.
No, you're both wrong. He's really gone out and surprised us now. He's eating a hairy pie.
Wow!
I should have known.
Should have known.
Don't Google hairy pie, kids. Don't Google hairy pie.
Whatever. If there's two things you should never Google, it's hairy pie and hairy old fat guy. So whatever you do not do that.
Just both at the same time. Hairy old fat guy with pie.
Yes, whatever you do, don't do that. We have the one and only Leon Russell. Evening all, I'm on time for a change. Yes, you are, sir. Thank you very much. We've got Mr. Perpetual himself. Is everyone ready? GP Venom, happy 50th show, number 1. I think that's meant to be an exclamation mark, but there we go. Yes, it's 50 shows, man. 50 shows. Can't believe this. It's awesome. We've got Mr. Mark Oldwood, the second sexiest man on YouTube. Tom, you got shunted to.
I know.
Mate. I'm so sorry about that.
Last week. I can't believe I've been demoted to number 3. Wow.
Honestly, I'm so sorry about that. We've got Leon Russell saying, banging opening and Latoya increases your glamour quotient by 400%. Well, we've also got Mark Oldwood in the chat, so that's just gone up to 500%. But Tom's even it out, so there we go. Yep. Pendleton, a half pint superhero. Evening peeps. Fuzzy ate a deep fried pop vinyl. And then we've got Hairy Old Fat Guy links directly to my YouTube channel. Okay, so if you
Oh
want to check
no,
out,
mate, not at all.
if you want to check out Triple G's new video, head over there, and he's got a hairy old fat guy eating hairy pie.
Nice.
Great.
What has happened to this show in the last 5 minutes? This is
We're
crazy.
giving people the content they want, Andy.
It's the
Happy
content
50th.
I don't think it's the content that they need though. But anyway, guys, it's our 50th show. What an accomplishment! There's the completionist in me that's like, there's 2 weeks to go. Do we just do it? But 50 is a nice round number. I think it's a.
I think what it might mean, we might do what I do best is impromptu. So it might be an impromptu live at some point. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a Thursday. It could be any. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying.
Impromptu Christmas Day.
Oof.
Do you want to tell Mrs. Geeky that? Because I don't think that would go down well with me. I think
I'm the only one that
wearing Christmas dinner. I think I'd end up wearing it instead of eating it.
If I'm working that day, I'm probably the only one that can get away with it.
But we've had some really good news today. We've got some seriously good stuff lined up for the start of the year. Like we had it confirmed today. We've got some wicked stuff lined up. So that's going to be very, very interesting. Well, actually, I think it's January, February, and also March we've got some good stuff in store for you all. So stay tuned. Thanks. Massive shout out to you all. Let's get the praise out there, as Tom said. Massive shout out to everyone who's joined us for 50 shows. Every single week, consistently, every Thursday night at 9 o'clock. I can't believe you guys and girls don't have anything better to do on a Thursday night than sit here and listen to a Made in Glasgow, a Not Quite Min, and a Geeky Guy. But we must be doing something right because you're here once again. So without that, should we just jump into what we do best?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So here we are. It is the killer covers for week number 50, December 15th. Now, obviously, this is this week. So Tom jumped in with a last minute change. You are so lucky that I didn't. He had to do it because one of the comics didn't come out. Yeah, I think he's called it here. But so up first we have Andy. Sure, sir.
Yes, this is my pick. This is Batgirls issue number 1, and this is the absolutely sublime Joshua Middleton cover. Nothing that I can say can do this cover justice. This is absolutely beautiful. I just hope that this DC book holds up to the perfection that is this cover. We've started the 50th show talking about hairy old fat guys and all that good stuff. Now we are talking about absolute class covers and giving you the peak. I'm starting at the very top now, and the next 2 covers is just going to be a gradual decline. So apologies about that, guys, but stick in there. Make sure that you're hitting that thumbs up and make sure that you're voting for Batgirls issue number 1.
Is it just me, Andy? I mentioned this, isn't it? Isn't it, right? For me, the blonde woman looks like Cersei from Game of Thrones.
She does. It's very, very well done, in all fairness. Like, the likeness is insane. And the fact that they look very human is beautiful. It's very, very well done. I have to give you that.
So we've got Batgirls number 1, Joshua Middleton, variant A from Andy.
Yeah, what can I say? It's in Hook Lee cover. It's insane. It's beautiful. I love the splash of the pink on this. I like the fact that the background is all white. Like the city is like a nice silhouette. Love it. Vote Batgirls 1 for the In Hook Lee cover.
Right, and then we've had 2 Batgirls. I thought I'd shake the pot, and I would go for IDW Publishing's G.I. Joe, a real American hero, 289. Friend of the Killer Comic Show, Mr. John Jiang with the variant B. Now he's got a sublime variant A out as well, but this is all kinds of pimp. Look at this. This is all kinds of pimp. Fantastic. Look at it's got like the 3D version glasses, like kind of colours popping out. So I'm quietly confident about this one.
I only criticism on this. Sorry, Adam, go on.
No, I was just going to say, it makes it a lot more difficult to say bad things about a cover when they're friends of the show. So I can see you, Charlie. I'm watching. I can see what you're doing here, Charlie. And did you also notice, Tom, that he took like maybe a minute and a half to look at ours, and then he very quickly got to his cover?
I literally got 2 seconds. He knows what he's doing, mate. He knows what he's doing.
Well, no. If we can go back, we're happy to go back. Like, I'm happy to revisit if you want to talk about Monica and Monica and Phoebe. We can talk about that. If, that's fine. I'm just waiting for Ross to show up as the holiday armadillo, and then we're all set. Then we are all set. And then we've got this one. I think this is this a rip off of what Jock's done? You know, with the background of for One Dark Night, he's kind of just flipped it and gone for the negative version and stuff. But it's a great cover. But then we've got Mr. Motivator in his pimp.
Who is it?
It's I don't know, but it looks great.
He doesn't even know who the character is.
Exactly. No idea. Never read the book.
It's G.I. Joe. He's a real American hero.
I can't believe it. I can't believe that you stoop so low as to pick a friend of the show's cover. So let's just get this out of the way. Stick up the voting thing. Let the chat decide who is the winner.
Okay.
Of this.
So I'm just going to go through the comments quickly. And we've got Panels and a Half Pint Superhero. It says, at a quick glance, I thought it was Rachel and Monica from Friends. Yep. And then we've got vote back girls in Holt Lee. We've got yes, Charlie wins this one. G.I. Joe by a country mile, no contest. It's Destro. There we go. And it's Destro, which is short for destroy you guys. Sorry, boys. We've got G's. We've got
shots fired.
Just the golden Big Daddy Destro, according to John Jiang. There we have it. So, but that's the covers. I'm not going to place any, like, I'm not going to keep mine up or anything. So what I'll do, I'll remove that, and then we will go into pickups of the week. I haven't picked anything up, guys, because
the vote in the chat. Yeah,
I'm going to get to that while you guys are talking. So go on, Andy. Do you want to carry on? Do you want to see what you picked up this week, mate?
I will show off some pickups. Yeah. So I picked these up in Forbidden Planet in Belfast, just when I was accompanied by James and Sean before we went out for our not Panels and Pints Christmas drinks last weekend, and they had these. So this is Wizards, but these are specifically. I
hate you right now.
These are specifically the J. Scott Campbell covers that I picked up.
So I hate you so much.
I knew you would like these and appreciate these. So these were sitting in 2 short boxes. And I couldn't believe my luck when I picked this up for a quid. Now, it doesn't go for much more than that on eBay and stuff like that, but it's just the fact that it's Spawn and Spider-Man drawn by J. Scott Campbell, and this was 1996 artwork. So that
they're
was
like
that.
rocking horse shit.
Yeah. What do you think of this one, Tom?
Again, I hate you, mate. I just knew that was going to be the next one. I just knew you'd got the 2 rarest ones. I just knew it. You absolutely.
So this is J. I don't even know what year this is, but yeah, obviously we've got Snake Eyes and we've got Wolverine there, and I could not resist picking them up. But there was a third. There's more. There's more.
Is it the Supergirl Superman one?
It's Superman.
Oh, and Goku.
That is awesome.
That's a clip. We need that clip, Tom.
That's not Jacob Campbell. J. Scott.
No, Jacob Campbell, is it?
No, it's just the Superman 2002 Superman by J. Scott Campbell.
Look at Goku's muscles on that cover. His muscles on that cover are insane.
Goku's like one of my favorite characters of all time.
But for a quid each, like, it would be rude not to pick these up. But I'm gonna stay on the J. Scott Campbell vibe, and you'll like this one, guys. I don't know how appropriate this is for. I'll cover up our modesty, but do you recognise this, Tom?
Ooh, I actually don't. To be fair,
So
but he did a lot of stuff, didn't he, back in the day for Savage? Is it?
This is Homage Studios Summer Special.
That's it.
And this is the first interior artwork by J. Scott Campbell, but he signed it as Jeffrey Scott back in the day.
Okay.
That was a nice
That's
thing that I got online.
Quality,
so
yeah.
I will. I'll keep our modesty covered. We've got World War Hulk issue number 3 of 5. This was just a quick pickup on eBay. I've got 2 issues to go. I think 4 and 5 that I need to find of this run.
I might have issue 5.
Nice. Thank you. Slide into my DMs, Tom. Slide into my DMs.
Oh, I'm on it now.
Again. These were 2 pickups that I got from the Hobgoblins Hideaway sort of impromptu sale that they done. They went live on Instagram, and it was full of Spider-Man. And I picked up issue number 90 of Web of Spider-Man. and it's still sealed in the poly bag as well. So I'm gonna release it from that, and this might be something that I might consider getting graded. So really happy with that. And I'm a huge Veregi fan. I think you'll recognize the artwork. It's got that sort of Native American vibe about it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of the covers that I didn't have, and it was only £3, so I couldn't resist picking that up. So
do you know what I liked Jeffrey? I like Jeffrey Verege. I think he does some good stuff, but there was a point where he literally every single cover he was bringing out, there was about 4 or 5 a week, and it was kind of like, oh, you're kind of flooding the market. But he is good at what he does.
Absolutely, you know a Veregi sort of cover as soon as you see it. But the interesting ones with this was these were like standard release, so this was I think a B cover that you could buy for retail, but because he's got so popular now, he's actually moved into the 1 in 25s and the 1 in 50. So actually trying to pick these up for a decent price is quite difficult. But happy enough with picking that up. And that was pretty much me for this week.
James has asked if you was covering the Peach of the Week.
I was, and it's been a while since we've done a Peach of the Week. And yeah, can you even get like thumbs down anymore on YouTube? I know it's like dislike, but sure.
No, I think I have to send you a message and say someone wants to dislike your video. Will you accept it? I think
is that what all those messages have been about?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've been wondering what my email is.
Yeah.
We have got the Poptimist is late. He's like, I'm late, poaching eggs, not a euphemism. Happy 50th, folks. What have I missed? Massive shout out to the Poptimist though, because he does a fantastic show. 10:30 once every Saturday, once a month, or like when he's working and stuff. It used to be every single Saturday, and it basically it is so raw. I love it. It's great. Sits in his car and he just talks about comics and Funko Pops and what's going on in the Funko world and stuff, and it's amazing. He hit 50 shows, I think, 2 or 3 months ago. Like, absolutely smashed it. So, and check him out on Instagram as well, because he's just got a massive comic pickup from Comics Kingdom of Canada, and he's got a very, very nice Alan Quay Marvel's 1, I think it is, CGC, nice 9.8, lovely. So yeah, head over there.
Nice.
Thomas.
Yes, my darling. So I actually only have 3 books this week, and mine are based around the Devil's Reign kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're doing pretty much every one of the major covers for Marvel. They're getting a Villain's Reign cover. So I decided to pick those up. So I got the Miles Morales Spider-Man one, which is Ultron, which is kind of like, I think it's really cool to see Miles all geared up as if he was more Ultron. I think that's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure that's in Hook Lee as well, which is just smart. I just think his artwork's smart.
Yeah.
So that one I got picked up. That wasn't too bad. And then I really love this cover. So this is Hulk issue 2, but what if Hulk was the Kingpin?
Nice.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And I just love it. And I think it really reminds me of the Daredevil movie with James Duncan Clark. And I think that's literally how I would imagine my Kingpin to be. I would have wanted him to be massive, not green, but massive. Do you know what I mean?
Wait a minute. How big is the Hulk's hand or Kingpin's hand on that? Is huge.
Wow. That's
about as big as his cane.
It's just a little stick that it has. It's like a toothpick.
And then finally, the book that I'm very happy with is the Ian Hook Lee Batgirls issue 1. Look for this cover. What
He's
a
doubled
stunner.
up. He's doubled up. Not only did he make a late change to his cover, but he's doubled up in the next segment. This is what we're up against, Charlie.
This is what you're up against, boys. This bad boy by Ian Hook Lee. Look at it. Look how stunning it is. And it's on. This is a standard cover, issue 1, cover A, and it is on starred cardstock. Can't go wrong with that, boys.
Look at that. Well, we've got a few new people in the chat. We've got Josh all the way from Canada, Legendary Builds. How are you doing, sir? Thank you very much for joining. We've also got the Poptimist. We have the Comic Room. Thanks for joining, mate. Merry Christmas to you as well. While we've got 3 new people in the chat, I thought what I'll do, I'll go back and I'll do the covers again. Right. So we've got Batgirls #1, the fantastic Joshua Middleton variant cover A from Andy. This is the Game of Thrones / Friends homage.
Have you noticed how she's just giving you the look now? Look, she's just giving you a look right now, Charlie.
Like, whatever, bore off. And then we have We've got the one that Tom's chose at the last minute. I will have he chose this at the last minute, literally at
Well,
7:52.
just scorched. Didn't. Oh, the one was scorched, but it didn't come out this week.
So that's Tom's entry, and then we also have my entry of
Your entry.
this distro looking badass, and this is it. So if you guys in the chat, I got literally gazumped at the last minute last week when Comets and Pops jumped in and decided to give the casting vote, and Andy won. Andy, what did you take it by? I think it was like, what did you take it by in the end? We was literally neck and neck. It was 33% each, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't. I'll be honest. I didn't even bother looking because I just
Oh,
saw that
you're
was
right.
first again.
Here we go. Yeah, look. Oh, look, Tom, you've got that one. Look, Tom for that one, in my opinion. Andy's back, girls, is a ghost on eBay. Not a single copy out there.
Well, and that's the beautiful one about my coverage. You can actually buy my cover. You can actually go out and get the cover that I picked. The two other covers, they're exclusives. You have to go to an exclusive shop and pay 15 to 20 quid for them. Mine,
Yeah.
£3.
Well, in
You have
regards
to buy
to the
like
vote,
50. You have to buy 50 copies of yours to get one of ours for free.
Yeah, exactly.
in regards to the vote, at the moment, me and Andy are tied at 45. No, Andy's winning at 50% because he's just logged in on another laptop. G.I. Joe is at 45%, and Batgirls Tom has 5%.
One vote. I think it was me.
It's your own vote. But it's going to be
Like,
interesting.
I get no votes this entire thing. I'm not doing the show next year.
Oh no! I'm changing my vote to Tom straight away.
Yeah, but it is going to be. It's become quietly competitive over the last couple of weeks. What started as a little bit tongue in cheek, covers of the week, pick one. We now are researching, and it's now got down to the fact where we're not even letting each other see what covers we're picking until we go live on the show.
Guys, this is the only segment that I actually do notes for.
Shit, that's where I'm going wrong.
Yeah, can you tell?
But yeah, that's enough of the covers. I don't want to give myself an unfair advantage by showing mine again.
It's been on for like 10 minutes.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. But we will get into the Killer Comic Show week 50 review. This is the final show of 2021. 50 shows.
It's
what an
the
accomplishment.
final countdown.
But there we go. Made in Korea, number 6, has finally come out. It's finally come out. It's been delayed, and then it was delayed again. It's finally come out. So I think Andy went with Made in Korea issue number 6. Tom went with Devil's Reign issue number 1. I went with Mr. Horror himself, Ran V's The Silver Coin issue number 7. And then we had Crimson Reign was neck and neck with, what was it neck and neck with? It was neck and neck with another, it was neck and neck with another comic on YouTube. And I think the casting vote between this and Twitter, this one. So Star Wars Crimson Reign became the 4th comic for week 50 review. It was a pretty strong week, to be fair. But who have we got up first? Tom, you're up first, sir.
Yeah.
We've got 8 covers. We've got 8 covers for you, mate.
8 covers. Does anyone want to take the all the names for me?
So we've got. Go on, Andy.
So we've got the main cover by Marco Checchetto.
Hold on. Let me move my mouth.
Whoa. There's the connecting variant by Mark Bagley. There is the 1 in 50 John Romita Jr. variant cover, which is stupendous. And we've got the Malieve movie poster variant. Next slide, please. We have the Peach Momoko variant. Yeah. We have the 1 in 25 Hyuk Lee variant. And we have the Scotty Young variant, my personal favourite. And then we have the Marco Terrini variant A. Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, mate. I couldn't agree more. The Scotty Young cover is by far the most superior cover for this run. You both have one coming, by the way. Chip Zdarsky is back on this one, guys. So he's moved over from Daredevil. It was supposed to be his last Daredevil kind of run, but he's been picked up to do it again after this. So this is his kind of like at the end of Daredevil. This is where it's moved on to now with Devil's Reign. So essentially the idea of this is the fact that the Kingpin has been manipulated by Daredevil / the Purple Man to forget the identity of Daredevil, and he is pissed about it, and he knows that someone's tampered with his brain. So his whole thing is him trying to basically find out who Daredevil is by completely screwing over all superheroes. So it's essentially Civil War, Like if you go back and do the whole like Civil War thing where like the mayor takes over and he basically saying you to be a superhero, you're not allowed to be a superhero in New York. If you do anything superhero related, you're under arrest. So I'm going to send out my guys to basically arrest you. Again, like I said, it's very much like similar to Civil War in that aspect, but it's so much better. I think it's very well done. I really did like it. I thought the way the relationship between Kingpin and Matt Murdock is quality. I liked the fact that he knows that his brain's been tampered with or someone's tampered with it and he's furious, but yet Matt Murdock gives him nothing, which then just angers him even more, which makes him make this ridiculous thing that any superhero that does anything decent in New York is going to be sent to prison. And then you've got Captain America stepping up. Everyone's kind of hiding. Luke Cage does this really cool monologue thing, which is quality. I really liked it, and I really liked it because I think Chip Zdarsky is pushing boundaries a little bit. I know he's probably got that blanket that Marvel do where they're like, please don't mess up our characters. Please don't do this. Like kind of like an embargo of like, don't do that, don't do this. I do think he's pushing the boundaries slightly. And I really am excited to see where Devil Reign goes. I think it's got legs to be one of the best kind of mini-series kind of events that Marvel have done for a while. But that might just be me being hopeful thinking because it's Chip Zdarsky who's written it. And issue 1's been so good, which is the same as King in Black. Issue 1 was amazing, and it was written by Donny Cates, but it did fall off after issue 2. So hopefully this doesn't do the same thing. What did you think, Charlie?
Do you know what? This was when you said this was one of your picks. I was like, I'm not getting into this. I think you picked it as one of your killer keys, and I was like, I'm not getting into this. I'm not going to fall into the trap of King in Black. I'm not going to fall into the trap of War of the Realms. Yeah, I did. I did. I really, really enjoyed it. I think the fact that it's like at the moment, Chip Zdarsky, what he's doing is really good stuff. Like he's working with Marco Checchetto, who's great at what he does as well, and them two work really well together. For me, I'm really interested. This for me is all about the Kingpin and like how his opinions and everything are changing, and he wants to know what the hell has happened. This is so different to what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a carbon copy of copy and paste. We get the same superheroes doing the same superhero shit, fighting the same villains, losing the same heroes, and then all of a sudden we've got another story going on, and then it's the same characters doing the spin-off and stuff like that. This is really enjoyable, and other than I think they've done something really well here as well, because obviously Chip Zdarsky has been writing Daredevil, so it's literally him going over to do the character that he's been doing for 31 issues now.
Yeah.
So he
yes.
Yeah, so he knows what he's doing with Daredevil, and what he's doing with Daredevil is the best we've seen in recent years. So for him to bring that over with a plethora, I was practicing this with a plethora of characters at his disposal to take on Kingpin, I don't think this can fall. But then, are we going to fall into the same trap as we did with King in Black? Well, I really hope we don't, because I think the narrative is great in this. I think the artwork is really, really good. I think they've got a really good story to base this whole layout on, but are Marvel going to fall into the same trap that we did with King in Black, when me and Andy was absolutely ecstatic? He's kicking off Donny Cates, the man that could do no wrong, and after 2 issues you're like, this isn't what we was expecting. It's kind of falling flat. So, but as first issues go, this is a story from Marvel that's piqued my interest in it, and Marvel's story hasn't done that in ages. So I'm looking forward to this one. So thanks for picking this, Tom.
Oh mate, you're my pleasure.
King in Black has a lot to answer for. That was the first show that I did with you, Charlie,
and you're still here.
This 36 issues, I think, the last Daredevil run that just took a little bit of a hiatus there. And from my perspective, whenever this was chosen, I was kind of quite glad, because I'm not picking it up as part of my pool list. And I don't know if I was a little bit Daredeviled out, if that makes sense, after having to go through 2-3 years of 36 issues, which have been absolutely stunning and fantastic, but I just didn't know what this particular sort of mini arc could bring that I hadn't seen before. And I guess I was kind of proven wrong with this, but I think you are absolutely right. This could be for me a little bit like the King in Black situation, where the first issue really sort of piques your interest. and it'll be really interesting what the next, what is this, a 5-issue, 6-issue run? Is 6 issues is going to do. I think I said that's the same thing, asked the same question, but it says on
last week. Is it 5 issues?
One of 6.
It's on the cover, Andy. That's exactly what Charlie said to you last week.
I never learn, honest to goodness. But for me, I'll start with the artwork. I thought the artwork was fantastic. It's what I would have expected. I think it complemented each of the characters, and definitely some of the action scenes and the pace. Marco Checchetto definitely nails that. Fantastic. I thought the colors were like pure Marvel, if that makes sense. It's so like clean and crisp and exactly what I would have expected. From a story perspective, it was something a little bit different from the last sort of 36 issues that have been done by Chip. And every time you sort of doubt Chip Zdarsky, he kind of throws it back at you and says, well, I kind of proven you wrong, sort of thing. So for me, I'm definitely intrigued to see where this goes. I would like to see some new characters, some completely new character come out of this. My only issue and concern is the sort of tie-ins for this. So this isn't just a 6-issue run that I can go by. There's other tie-ins for other characters that I might not necessarily be interested in. But am I going to be able to get the story from start to finish through 6 issues, or do I need to buy 25 issues with all the tie-ins to actually get what's happening?
I have a feeling if you go on Bleeding Cool, there's actually an interview with Chip where he talks about this, and he basically said that the 6 main issues will give you the main story of what you need to know of what's going on with Daredevil and Elektra and the Kingpin. The other issues do add to the story, but they're not a necessity. It's a bit like going back to when they did Civil War, basically. So the other stuff that goes alongside it they do make sense and they do help, but they're not essential. Yeah, there you go, mate.
The only thing for me, obviously, I'll read Batman like religiously, and I kind of feel like Marvel are kind of stealing a bit of their story from DC. So obviously DC with Batman, we had like the whole future state thing where superheroes in masks were illegal, like they were illegal, and now we're kind of touching on that with Marvel here. It's kind of like, again, it's like Marvel are running out of ideas, and
Agreed.
Obviously, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, the character building in this is great, but it does seem to be a bit of,
it felt almost too familiar at times. It felt like, dare I say it, a little bit of a carbon copy of it. And because of that, it wasn't a cool concept, because you felt like you'd already read it before, just with obviously different characters. So yeah, totally agree with each other.
Yeah, same. I agree. Can I just point one thing out, right? I've not been reading Miles Morales. What is he wearing? Why is he suddenly wearing a tracksuit? What's that all about?
Who knows? I don't. I think there's been a lot of people that have been quite unhappy with the change up, because if there's any character that's out there, Miles Morales did not need changing, did not need updating. Dare I say, it was perfect. They didn't, don't change something that isn't broken. And I guess this is probably just maybe artists, writers with too much time in their hands to sell comics, because it's the first appearance in a new outfit. It's probably got a lot to do with it.
Mate. So when I saw it, I was like, what is that? Why is he wearing a tracksuit? Because I like Miles Morales. I mean, I granted, I don't read the Miles Morales book, but I loved him in Champions. I thought it was great. I thought
Champions was great.
Yeah.
So Tom, this was your pick of the week. Do you want to kick us? Was it a killer or a binner?
Well, I'm going to go for a killer because I really enjoyed the first issue, and I really, really hope that it's going to continue on. So yeah, killer from me.
Andy?
Killer for me on the basis of just the first issue, but it will have to do a lot in the next issue to keep my interest going.
I'm going to go for a killer because it piqued my interest, and it was a comic I didn't think I was going to get into and I didn't want to get into, but yeah, I think I'm with you. It needs to keep up the momentum now. It can't drop off. So yeah, it's a killer for me. So that's a good start to the show, isn't it? 8 covers in, and we've got a killer already.
Got it.
Which sets us up nicely for your pick, Andy.
Yeah.
My pick, you see? My pick? Yes, I think this is fair to say, guys, that any one of us could have picked this. It just so happens that I think I sent through the message the quickest on this one. So yeah, this is made in Korea. This is the final issue. Issue
I just
number
have to
6.
point out that I've put Tom's logo there when it is actually yours, Andy. I do apologise, mate.
It's fine. I will take the hit on this one.
We all would have picked it. We all would have
I will-
picked it
I will
anyway.
take
So
it.
You should have just put the Killer Comics logo up in this one.
Yeah,
'cause
literally.
shouldn't
We should have
have
put
three
all
of us.
3 of our logos. This is the comic we all would have picked.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad. I'm sure we are all glad that we did. From
and he's
issue
just
number
checked
1
in just in time. There we go. Look,
just in time.
It's Jeremy himself. It's like we sent out the call. There we go. How you doing?
No pressure then, guys.
No pressure, Jeremy. Off you go.
So this has been a fantastic Jeremy Holt, and the cover art and art is by George Schall. Guys, we've been on this since issue 1. I think I mentioned on Instagram or Twitter that it was back in like March or April this year that I first mentioned this book, having seen it in previews, and suggested that everybody get on it. I know that I mentioned to you guys about reading issue 1 because I thought it was going to be fantastic. And I don't think I was wrong. I don't think we were wrong to keep going with this. I was nervous about this issue. I was nervous about this review as well because having read it, this isn't a review about just one issue. This is kind of a review of all 6 issues combined, because that is the beauty of Made in Korea, is that it tells a beautiful story. And it's one of very few books that after you've read it, you can really quickly dive back in, and what you take from it is kind of a life lessons. It's a little bit like The Many Deaths of Layla Starr by Ram V. It's not very often that you can read a book and take away life lessons from it. So for me, I'm maybe going to start with the artwork. So George Schall on this issue is consistently portrays the life of Jesse fantastically. I think I mentioned before, it's interesting that I think Jeremy used to work in an Apple Genius bar back in the day, and almost the artwork and the panels are kind of they're so clean, and it's almost like you're looking at a typical Apple store. When you go in there, it feels all nice and clean and fancy. Everything's the same sort of thing. I don't know what you guys got from this, but for me, this book is all about representation. And Jessie kind of knows who she thinks that she is. But I think it's fair to say that the world doesn't view her the same, view them the same way. It's kind of there was a great panel in this issue where Jessie is punching a mirror. And it's almost like that was kind of the moment of breakthrough, where it's a representation of her breaking through what the other people see of them and moving beyond that. Emotional, this issue was quite emotional. I think the last maybe 2 or 3 issues have been quite emotional, been really, really consistent with that. I think this, if you've not read this book, then I know the trade paperback is coming up, and I think this would be a fantastic book just to sit down with a cup of coffee and consume from start to finish. It's been delayed. I think quite a couple of issues have been delayed, Charlie, I believe, on this, and that's almost, it's been disappointing at times because you're so eager to actually get back into the story. So it almost feels like issue 6 has came at a point, and it's almost like you're just relieved to find out what's happened, but you're intrigued to see, can this move forward? Is there going to be more to this particular story? As I say, this is all about identity, representation. It's kind of a book that's a voice for adoptees. It's a voice for Koreans. It's a voice for kids that maybe don't identify with the body that they were born in, and they want and they feel different things, and that's okay. And I think there's a real opportunity here for younger people who are maybe confused and don't know what's happening, what these feelings are about. Is they've got a book that they can pick up and read, and it 100% represents them and gives them a little bit of hope. And God, we need some hope in this world at this point in time. So for me, this was I think I used the words on Twitter. This was a masterpiece, and I can't thank Jeremy enough for writing it. So, thank you very much, Jeremy.
Tom, would you like to follow on with that?
Not really. How do you follow that? That's basically what I was going to say, to be honest. I mean, wow, that's a killer review right there, man. I mean, I can't really add more to what you said, mate. Apart from me and Charlie were talking about this before we started the show, and I really liked the way that this particular issue, out of all the issues, gave you the chance as a reader to not necessarily read it with dialogue. It was a lot of artwork and suggestive artwork that made you really think about the book. And I said to Charlie, like, it got to the end and I was like, hold on a minute, I've missed something here, and I had to go back and I had to reread it, which just shows to me how good it is as a book. I have loved every single issue of Made in Korea, and the reason it's got my logo on here is because I picked this when it was supposed to come out. So it just says to me that we were all going to pick it at some point. Yeah. This is how good this is. And for me, I would suggest that anyone watching this video, whether you be watching it now live or you're watching it on the rewind, I would massively suggest you go and pre-order this as a trade paperback, because you will not regret it. I actually recommended it to a friend of mine at work. Probably recommended it to him on Monday. He went out and bought all 6 issues from our local comic shop, and he busted through them and told me it was one of the best comics he'd read this year. And I can't disagree with him. I think it's amazing. And like you said, it gives people that are maybe struggling with their identity a book to read, to pick up off the shelf. They can go into their local comic book shop where they might not necessarily feel comfortable and pick up a comfortable book to read about them, about their story. And do you know what I really like about this book as a general is the only human being in this book is Jessie. The only human being in this book is Jessie. And I really related to a lot of things that she went through, or they went through. So
100%, good. 100%. And that's going to be the only way that there's going to be a volume 2 of this. I guess that's the way that comic books work these days, and image will work. I mean, it's not going to be the amount of sales of issue 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. It's going to be how many pre-orders did it get for the trade. And if everybody who's watching this in the rewind can go and buy a copy or buy 2 copies, that will secure volume 2 for this.
Yeah. And also, can I just give a massive shout out to Jeremy? Like, he was one of the only people that got back to me to help me create the new intro for this show. So massive thanks to Jeremy for that. And I couldn't have asked for a nicer person to deal with. What a legend. Follow that.
All I can say is that this, for me, is one of the most intricate and personal stories ever told in comic books. I have to say, every single detail in this, every single part of the narrative, and every single part of the artwork, every single part of this comic for me works flawlessly. George and Jeremy, they work incredible together. If there's one thing we can do to make sure that there's more issues of Made in Korea, or there's a second arc, or something goes on, we need to do it, because I'm upset that it's at the end, that it's come to the end. Do you know what I mean? And this has been, it's not very often that I would read every single issue every time a new issue comes out. Right? But it would have done. It would have got really, really awkward if I didn't like it. But
see when there was a bit of a delay there, Charlie, I was like, oh no, what's it going to say? Because we haven't really spoken about this issue. We just assumed that everybody loved it. I was like, oh no, what's going to happen?
It's true, actually. Charlie hasn't said anything.
But I've got to say, hand on heart, this is probably one of the best comics I think I've ever read. 100%. And I think consistently every single week, this comic has left one of us or all of us speechless, because
which doesn't happen very often, to be fair.
It doesn't at all. You've got a Cockney that could talk the hind legs of a donkey. You've got a jock who no one understands, and you've got Not Quite Men who bench presses 550 firemen for fun. So, but what I'm saying is that this comic just leaves you speechless. And if there's one thing you do, or if there's something, or there's someone asking you for a Christmas present this year, make sure you get your pre-order in for Made in Korea, because it's amazing. it is amazing. And the only way that I can signify this again is
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
just by whacking this on.
Hey.
Just honestly, the 50th episode of the show wouldn't be complete if Made in Korea issue number 6 didn't get the gold seal of approval from the Killer Comics crew. So, Jeremy, George, fantastic story. You've created something amazing here, and it's going to be our pleasure on the 3rd of February having yourself and George on the show to talk about all 6 issues and how it came about. And massive congratulations to you for this being a story that broke the camel's back and finally opened that door for you for Image Comics. So yeah, 100%. This is a golden killer chicken dinner, whatever you want to call it. This is up there with one of the best comics I've ever read. So there we
If
have
this bad boy doesn't win some kind of award for its writing and its artistry, I will riot.
it. Yeah, 100%. So are we all clear that this is a killer? Three killers.
This is killer of the year, mate.
Oh, big words. Yeah, this is absolutely 100% a killer. And I think it's, in fairness, it's probably been a killer since issue number 1.
Do you know what, Tom? I think you've upset Jeremy though, because
Yes,
I'm late to the party. But where's Tom's Santa cap?
it does say Jingle Bells on it. Unfortunately, I took my hat to work, and I didn't think it was appropriate if I decided to put my Santa pants on. But yeah.
But it's always appropriate.
Always appropriate. But the chat has been absolutely buzzing. So obviously this is exactly, it's a little jewel, an intimate epic. Jeremy said we've all leaving him dumbfounded, best Christmas gift ever. He did say that issue number 5 was delayed because unfortunately George got COVID that caused the delays and the supply chain issues delayed issue number 6. So obviously we hope George as well. We hope all the supply issues have been sorted as well. We've got Roger who said this is definitely be Made in Korea, should definitely be a 6-part show on Netflix. Fingers crossed.
I don't know, they might ruin it.
I think this like a little animation
Yes,
would be awesome for this.
And then we've got
animation
Panels and Pints. Panels and Pints has said this and Layla style my reads of the year by a stretch. What an achievement.
Nice.
And honestly, massive thanks for Jeremy for literally week in, week out, just dropping in the show and just like watching the show. It means a lot for us that you would take the time, and the rest, like everyone in the chat, takes the time to spend their Thursday nights with us three that look really great and professional at the moment. So yeah. But yeah, there we go.
Is the word you're looking for?
festive.
Roger might be onto something, so let's hopefully
My
that
t-shirt
is
is
true.
festive.
There we go. Look, we're all in a festive mood, and this just topped it off with an absolute gold-plated killer. So yes, that is it. That came out last week. So make sure if you haven't done already, pick up Made in Korea issue number 6. I'm up now, and I've gone for the Silver Coin issue number 7. Main cover by Michael Walsh, cover B by Gax Valles, and this is obviously written by Mr. Horror himself, Ram V. Andy, I just have to take, I'm not going to take it off because I don't want to because I'm enjoying wearing it, but this, you got me into Silver Coin. I think you picked issue number 5, and I hadn't read any of them, and I was like, right, okay, I've got a tall task here, I've got to read 5 issues. By God, are they enjoyable. They are literally the edge of your seat stories to read, and because it's an anthology, you can pick it up issue 2, issue 6, you can pick it up wherever.
Not issue
For
4.
me, not issue, no, issue 5, 100%. Issue 5 is incredible. If I can say one thing, Ram V knows how to write horror. He really, really does. Now, obviously, this tells a story. I think it's, let me get this right. Is it Tazampanco? Tazampanco. It's a casino in Los Angeles. And no, it's not. It's a casino in Las Vegas. And it's built on like Aztec, Mexican ruins and stuff like that. It basically tells a story of a down and out of his like cowboy that's got nothing going for him, and all of a sudden he starts winning big, and then he gets taken up to the tall towers, and everything seems to be going right, and it's all down to a silver coin. This for me was horror written at its best. Like Ram V is doing something consistently great. He's writing Swamp Thing, he's now on Venom, he's now writing this, and this honestly, this is a great horror story. This is, if you haven't read Silver Coin yet, get into it. The artwork is incredible. The narrative by Ram V is obviously going to be consistent. It's great, but it's just a subtle little picks of horror that he throws in now and again. Like the end panel for me just stood out because I wasn't expecting it, and it kind of there's a part in it where something happens and you're like, whoa, that was a bit close to the bone, but it works so well in the story, and it was a fantastic week last week for comics, and this again for me was the icing on the cake. Silver coin, gold coin. This was wicked. Loved it. So Andy, thank you so much for picking this, mate, when you did about 3 or 4 months ago, because I've loved reading every single issue even.
Cool. Nice. Not,
and
I'm
glad.
That,
what did you think of it?
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely glad. I got it on my pull list. I stopped at 5 because it was only originally meant to be 5 issues. And as soon as I saw the solicitations that Ram V was doing an issue, I was straight back in again. I love how it's every end. You don't need to read 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, I would read issue number 5. That'll give you the background and the backstory to the coin. And then every other issue is just an enjoyable sort of journey as to what's going to happen with this coin. I think last issue was in like an amusement arcade, and then obviously this one is in the biggest amusement arcade in the world. It's Las Vegas. So I think when it comes to like story ideas, then Vegas and money and coins in Vegas isn't maybe like blowing everybody's mind. But what blew my mind about this story is how intricate the story actually became. Vegas actually just became the environment for it, but it was actually the sort of folklore and the Mexican sort of heritage that was brought into this book that kind of like took it to that next level. I think obviously Michael Walsh is doing the artwork, so he's interpreting the stories by the who's who of the comic industry. I think this was a difficult issue for me to like really enjoy, because I see Vegas as being all lights and bright, colors and stuff like that. And I think every issue of Silver Coin has been the exact opposite of that. So it was quite hard in the first few panels for me to go, oh, right, this is actually Vegas. But I think in true typical Michael Walsh fashion, he takes Ram V's, excellent horror narrative and really put it on the page. The panel work was fantastic in this. And this was almost intriguing from a character perspective, because in just one issue, you were invested so much in at least 2 of the characters that were shown in this. So it's almost like they could take this and do 5 issues just on its own based on these particular 2 characters. So I thought it was great. And it's just going to be interesting to see how this all ties in together. We read Hotel, I think it was last week. And I think the beauty of Hotel is the fact that every issue sort of ties in subtly to each other. I think Ice Cream Man does the same. And I think what we may find is in the next couple of issues that we'll all see little tie-ins from the first 5 issues. So that's what I'm hoping for. Tom, just before you jump in, I just want to say, I think it's a tall task. Like, I'm not going to lie, it's a tall task to make such a satisfying read, have a beginning, a middle, and an end in 22 to 25 pages. And Ram V seems to have done that in this. Like, that's hard to do, to create such a gripping and compelling story over 24 pages. But I think he's done it. And as Mark said, he's got Ram V has got a young child, so he needs something to do in the middle of the night. I was speaking to Ram V, I think when he was on the show a couple of months ago, I was speaking to him at Thought Bubble as well. And he said his new child's now sleeping through the night, so he can kind of get back to work and he can kind of get some of his good stuff done. And he's clearly done it with this. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, Tom, before you crack on and give your point of view.
My 2 pence silver coin.
No. There we go.
Well, like, so I'm not massively keen on horror comics because I just don't get them, to be fair. Some of them, I just think some of them are a little bit over the top. I think they're horror for horror's sake. But then, the superhero comics are exactly the same. They can be superheroes just for the sake of being superheroes. So I was happy to give this a go. And I think Andy was right. They have been very, very good books, but it's literally each issue, someone gets the coin, the person who's got the coin dies. So it's not like the story's changing each time. It's the same story rewritten, but from a slightly different point of view. I liked this issue though. Out of all of them, I think this one's probably one of my more favorite issues that I've read. So I did like it. I liked the Vegas aspect of it. I liked the gambling aspect of it. I liked that he had that little bit of a kerfuffle with his friend, and the coin basically took his friends from him. He took all of his life away from him, and then he'd got all this luck, and then he went up to the top of the building, as it were, and met the big cheese. And I liked that the big cheese was technically like kind of essentially either a descendant or is the person that has been talked about throughout the book. And I like that. I like that history thing. And I think, like Andy said, this could well be, if they'd have just stuck with this story, this could be a 5-issue story that I personally would read. I don't know what they're going to do with it. The whole where he tosses the coin at the end and mentions the brother, I thought that was cool. And I like that this might mean that, like you said, we might get a bit more of a continuity throughout the books. I think that's great.
I think we will, because I took a quick look at the next issue cover, and it looks like the character that we've seen at the end. So it could be quite interesting to see another writer's perspective on a story that Ram V's effectively kicked off.
Yeah, I really like that. But for me, that also shits on the first 7 issues, because like they don't kind of link in with each other, apart from the fact that there's a coin in each one. So why didn't you do that to start with? However, I totally agree with everything you've said. Ram V is incredible at writing horror. He's an incredible writer, and this just shows how good it is, because it got my interest. I want to read the next issue, even though it's not my cup of tea. So it is a killer for me. I would say 100% a killer.
And it's true what Sean's saying. This book would make any good American horror style TV show. I picture it as being on after Tales of the Crypt on Bravo, way back, way back old school. But,
just before Celebrity Deathmatch.
There we just. I used to love Celebrity Deathmatch. That was on MTV, wasn't it? That was awesome. Whatever happened to that program?
I think they should bring it back, and they should do the Celebrity Deathmatch, and we should be a tag team.
There's 3 of us.
Exactly. A triple team.
Okay.
Triple tag team.
Cool. A triple death match. There we go. But yeah, so that's 3 killers. Surely it can only continue, no?
Oh god.
Let's hope so.
So we had, this was my pick. We had Made in Korea, which was Andy's pick, and we had Devil's Reign, which was Tom's pick. 3 killers out of 4 so far. The viewer's choice was Star Wars Crimson Reign. We had the main cover by Sonny Go. We had the Marco Torrini variant A. We had the Razaz Knights of Ren variant, and we had the 1 in 50 Stephen Cummings variant. Tom, you're a Star Wars man. What did you think of this?
The thing is, I'm not really a Star Wars man. I am a little bit. I've just recently got into it, and I've been reading it. So since they started the whole War of the Bounty Hunters, I got into it, and I thought War of the Bounty Hunters was great. I liked that they brought this, the Crimson Dawn. They brought them back and made them canon, and they did the whole story about the characters. This book is the next step of that. So the whole bounty hunter thing is finished. Now it's all about the Crimson Dawn's reign and what they're going to do in the galaxy and how they're going to do whatever it is they got to do. I'll be honest, I read it. I couldn't tell you what happened because I don't care. That's how bad this book is. I just don't care. It didn't make me care about any of the characters. It didn't make me fall in love with any of the new characters that they get introduced. It just didn't gel well with this book. And I think I got halfway through it and I started to skim read. And as I've said to you guys before, if I get halfway through a book and I start skim reading, my dyslexia starts playing up. I start reading things that aren't there and I start making things up. And it just says to me that you might as well put this book back or put it down and just leave it. The only saving grace of this whole comic is the Raz cover. That is a stunning cover. That's about it for me. I thought this was a steaming pile of turd. But not the worst book I've read this year, by far. Not.
Wow. Andy, do you want to follow on from? No, you don't want to follow on from a steaming pile of turd, do you? Really don't.
Not again. I'll do my best. So I do enjoy a good Star Wars story, a good Star Wars book. That's pretty much what my pull list is full of is Star Wars titles, and there are a lot. So this was just another one to add to the pile. This is 5 issues, so not a huge amount of investment. But there's a thing that goes with Star Wars books at the minute is that there's going to be that one book that you don't pick up that is going to be that key book that's going to be worth lots and lots of money. It happened with Dr. Aphra issue number 3. Lots of people slept on it because they just picked up issue number 1. But that aside, and all that good stuff aside, I read this late on, so literally I think it was earlier on today, and it was post sort of hearing what your thoughts were on it. I didn't think this was a binner. I didn't think it was a killer. I didn't think it was a big steaming pile of what's it. I actually quite enjoyed it was kind of a book of two halves for me, to use that football analogy. I enjoyed the start of it. I enjoyed the build up. I thought it was quite a cool concept. Like, if you're not into Star Wars, you've not read any of the Star Wars titles before, you're going to struggle a little bit to understand who these characters are, that she's kind of built up this super team to go and do what it is she's going to go do. I don't want to spoil it hugely. But for me, I liked the element of it being a kind of a like criminal underworld in Star Wars. That's what I liked. I liked everybody sort of getting together. And this I think that this main character, is it like Kira?
Kira.
Is her name.
Kira, yeah.
I think she's a really cool concept. I think she would actually be really good in like a movie or in a Star Wars animation, because there's just something about her that doesn't seem to hold. It seems too good to be true, and it's almost like she's got that evil element in her. And for me, I enjoyed this. Go on, Charlie.
Sorry, you just said she seems like she's got a bit of evil in her, and I was going to say, yeah, that's Darth Maul, but we won't go there.
Anyway,
I'm going to leave this conversation.
Okay, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing what Charlie thinks about this comic.
Right,
and yeah, you've just ruined my review there. So thanks, Charlie, because I can't get that image out of my head.
I'm so sorry.
Killer.
You teed me up right there, because you said about people who haven't read the Star Wars. Like, I haven't read any Star Wars. I think I read one Dr. Aphra, and I was reading like 2 or 3 issues of the Darth Vader stuff. I couldn't get into it. Like, I like the films, I love the films, I just can't get into the comics, because I think there's so many. You've got Darth Vader, you've got Dr. Aphra, you've now got Crimson Reign, you've got so many like coming from left, right, and there's so many comics and tie-ins to get into. I'm just like, I was like, oh, I'll give this one a go, and I got confused, because I was like, right, who the hell are they? They're talking about Darth Maul. Darth Maul died. Now they've got like a team gun on and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, Charles Soule is a great writer. But I think it does hit it on the head, where like, if you're not reading Star Wars, you're gonna get lost. And I kind of found myself getting lost. From what I read of this, and I read it all the way through, it does seem like the premise of a good story. And from what I can understand, is it a direct tie-in or a follow-on from the Bounty Hunters?
Here's a follow-on, yeah.
And the characters are tie-ins as well, because some of the characters that were introduced through the Bounty Hunters are obviously in this team up that she's with. But did you like? It feels as if this is kind of like the X-Men of space.
Exactly that. And I'll go back to what Charlie said earlier about the whole tie-ins thing. This is one of those books where if you haven't read any of the tie-ins, you ain't going to know what the hell's going on, and that's annoying. It's really annoying.
And it is, and that's what I found confusing, because it seems like he's pulling characters from different books and different arcs and stuff. And I was like, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know who was coming in left and who was coming in right. I didn't have a clue who they were, but it was enjoyable. And I think she's got a growth, this character. I think there was some good character development, but I think I would have needed to know more about it, instead of it just being a first issue. It's basically just a follow-on from the Bounty Hunters. But I wouldn't say it's a binner. I'd say it was a good comic to read. I just think I'd need to, and any reader out there would need to read more stories previous to this to get into it.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't think much of the artwork as well, if I'm brutally honest. Like, for anybody who would have struggled with the story because either they haven't read any other Star Wars, then you're going to try and keep reading it because you enjoy visually what you're taking in. But again, it was a little bit of a struggle, and I couldn't help but thinking at the end of it, what was the point of this? What am I going to have to get 5 issues to understand what the premise of the story is, and then that'll bounce me into another story arc or back to an arc that I'm already picking up? I think it was just so busy. The book, there was a lot going on. It was kind of like a massive build-up book, and it got a little bit crazy in the aftermath, where lots of things seemed to happen at the one time, and I had to flick back 2 or 3 pages to go, did I miss something, or what's going on? And this was the last book of 4 for this week, so you know, we'd went from the books that we've just reviewed into this. So again, that's probably one of the other reasons why I struggled to enjoy it.
And one character I got confused with was that Lord Gooty. I was like, I don't see his part. Is he just, I don't know. I'm going to say it's a binner, but I'm not going to say it's a killer either, because if this was just a one shot, I'd be done with it. I don't think I'm going to pick up the rest of the issues. But
well, I had it on my pull list, and it's now off my pull list after reading it this afternoon. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Sean says he thinks he ordered this from Not Quite Mint. I'd be regretting that now.
Yes, because I'm probably going to send a steaming pile of turd in
and its replacement.
But yeah, so I mean, what are we saying about this? Tom, you said it's a binner.
I am actually
your words were,
I am
it's a
definitely
steaming pile
going to
of
say
turd.
this is a binner for me.
I'm going to agree. I'm going to say it's a binner. I can't, you know, with good conscience say that all the last 3 books that we've read are killers and then put this in the same category. So for me, this was a binner. It's off my pull list. I won't be picking up or reading issue number 2.
I'm going to say I can't pass judgment on this. The only thing that would, if I were inclined to go with anything, would be a binner, is because I don't think it's not for a new reader at all. Like, it's not, you can't just jump on it. And I think it's a tall task asking someone to read 27 issues beforehand of the Bounty Hunters or Darth Vader to tie into this story. So I'm not going to pass judgment, but if I did it, it'd be a binner. So technically I'm saying it's a binner. So yeah, that's 3 binners. Binner, steaming pile of turd. So yeah, it's always great to end on the comic reviews of the previous week on such a high, but you know, we're honest.
Positivity. Merry Christmas, everybody.
We tell you what it's like, and obviously Crimson Rain is a steaming pile of turd. From our opinions, you heard it here first. But on that note, what do we do now? What do we go into? Oh, it's is it?
I literally just before you played it, I went, "Is it time for this?"
Is it time for your keys? That's it. So, Tom, this is your sexy part of the show. This is the Killer Keys for December 22nd, which is obviously next week. So, what have you got lined up for us, sir?
So next week is the 22nd of December, but also don't forget that the DC books come out on the 21st, and some local comic shops do allow you to go and get them the day before. So, yeah, make sure you look out for that. So, next slide, please. My boss man. I believe this one is one of the most highly anticipated books that we have spoke about on the show. We've had Jock on the show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. So go through our videos and you'll find the video where we interview Jock about, and he actually shows us some artwork of this, which is pretty damn cool. So yeah, so next week it is dropping, is The One Dark Night, which is by Jock. It's basically what happens in Gotham City if all the lights go out. Because of a brand spanking new villain. He is making his first appearance in this issue, which is why it's a key, and he's called EMP. So basically, electromagnetic pulse. So yeah, worth picking up, guys.
If you follow Jock on Instagram, he's been dropping some amazing posts lately, like some images and some. This is, and it's oversized as well. It's magazine size.
Yeah.
So
it's black label job. Yeah.
Yes, black label. So there's strictly no holds barred for this one, and it is Jock on the writing, art, and cover art as well.
Pretty sure it's got a $4.99 price tag or $5.99 price tag. However, if you head over to notquitemint.com, we have a 50%
$2.75.
$2.75 for a £5 book.
Absolute steal, that is. So yeah, great way to start off Killer Keys.
Absolutely, mate. Okay, so second up is the Avengers Forever. It is by Jason Aaron. However, there are a couple of other kind of mini stories in here by various writers. This is going to be the first proper appearance of Captain Carter in the comic book world. She has made an appearance in What If, but it's not canon. And she has made other appearances, but not as Captain Carter. So this is the first appearance of Captain Carter from the What If TV show in this book. So if you want to pick it up just for that, you actually get her first ever appearance. First cover appearance, first proper appearance.
I can
all
see
in
there.
Yeah. And you get a first appearance of the War Machines as well, which is like a team of War Machines, not just one in this book. And it's obviously got Aaron Kurder is the art is on this, and he's quality.
There needs to be a good Avengers story. I think we're on like issue 56 at the moment. It's kind of just dry.
It's dropped off massively. I mean, it's annoying because I think Jason Aaron is a really good writer, but I think he has had his creativity sucked out of him for Avengers. I think he came up with a story that if they'd have done it a bit more compact, would have been amazing. But dragging it out for 50 issues, I think it really shows that he's got points where he's gone, oh, I don't know how I'm going to fill this issue because the next issue is important, but this is just not quite right. There's a lot of filler, basically.
I think as Triple G said, Defo picking up the first Captain Carter. I think that's a good push. People are going to want to get this just for the Captain Carter. And I think I'm hoping, like, I haven't read a good Avengers story and I'm a massive Avengers fan. And I'm hoping this can kind of plays up.
I don't think I'll be picking this up, boys. That cover just gives me pure anxiety.
Just too much going on.
It's too much going on.
It is, isn't it?
I did think that. It's very does anyone remember the Michael Turner did a cover for Planet Hulk where you've got Hulk at the front and he's like streaming, and then behind him is literally every Marvel character ever. I absolutely love that cover because I thought Michael Turner was one of the most incredible artists back in the day. But that cover itself, if you look at it for too long, gives you anxiety because you're like, I can't name all of these characters. I don't know who any of these are. There's too much going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that? I've got a question. So I'm assuming that's Ghost Rider in the car.
It is.
Is that like the first time Ghost Rider's car has been on a cover? Because he normally is on a bike, isn't he?
No, the new Ghost Rider is driving a car.
Oh, is he? There we go.
There we go.
That's how far behind you are, Andy.
That's how much I care.
That's how much I care. Love it. So yeah, next up is Robins issue 2 by Tim Seeley, who's been doing incredible things with bits and bobs. So this is the first full appearance of this Robin protege, female Robin protege that thinks that she was the first ever Robin. And this story is all about proving the fact that she wasn't. However, was she? That is the question. I actually read Robins 1 and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It's a very different take on the Robins. Actually having them team up is great. Damien is, again, standout character for me every time. And I like Jason Todd's relationship with Damien. I think it's great. So if you haven't picked up issue 1, I would definitely recommend picking up issue 1. It's quite good. But pick up this issue 2 to get the first full appearance of this character. She hasn't been named yet. She is going to be named in this issue. They just haven't released what her name is. So
nice.
So I've been reading, Tom, me and you talk about Robin, and it's oh my god, it's basically Robin Battle Royale, island of what is it called? The island of
it's the Lazarus, not Lazarus.
Lazarus, but yeah, it's the Lazarus Island, and it's such a great, intriguing story. It's wicked. It's really, really enjoyable, and it's like we've been talking about it. Issue 1 of this, really, really enjoyed. I'm hoping issue 2 continues.
Yeah, it should do.
And have you been reading any Robins or Robin or?
I think the only issues of Robin that I read was when Tom picked it for our reads, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite good. I never, like, what I noticed about the Killer Keys is that I don't think I've seen an indie book in the Killer Keys, which is quite interesting. But I guess has there been, Tom? You're about jumping in.
I don't do it on purpose. I don't add indie keys on purpose because you do the indies.
Ah, there we go. I don't even mention it
because there's quite a few that I could drop in, and I'm like, oh, I'll do that, but then I don't want to clash with you. So maybe in the new year we'll have a chat before I do my keys, and then that way we ain't going to cross over, and we'll see some indies in this bad boy.
We'll mix it up. We'll keep everybody in suspense. No, but yeah, Robin was a really good, intriguing read, and I think as you hit the nail on the head with a battle royale type, I thought it was good, and the fact that they brought in a lot of characters that I would have recognised. In the DC world, there's a lot of DC books that I'm paying to read because I just don't know what I'm reading.
Yeah.
But even the Robin Annual was great.
Mate,
that was
what's her name? Her origin story, wasn't it? What's her name?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
We'll think of it. But yeah, so that's Robin's number 2.
Okay, so first off, this isn't the main cover for Timeless. So first, Timeless has got an incredible cover with Kang on the front because it is a Kang-based story, and it is kind of coming off the events of Loki. So they've done this new story about Kang. The reason this is a key is because it has got 2 first appearances. It's the first full appearance in a comic book of Miss Minutes. So if you're interested in that character, this is her first full appearance in this book. And also the appearance of Antonov Potov. I think I've got that name right. Probably not. But he's the timekeeper. So he's essentially what's his name's character was in Loki. Help me out here. Does the car in Cars.
There's 2 things. I'm flabbergasted that Miss Minutes has never been in a comic book before.
No, never.
Yeah.
2, I'm quite enjoying watching you struggle, Tom. If you remember that name.
Yeah. Oh, God,
I'm giggling.
I can't remember his name. The actor. I'm trying to think of the actor's name to then remember the name. What's his name? But yes, so this story is all based around Kang. But the only reason I picked this particular cover is because Carmen Carreno is insane. This is one of the nicest road covers I've seen since the J. Scott Campbell one that he did. This is incredible, and this would have been my cover pick for next week. I absolutely love this the Stormbreakers variant. I think it's one of the nicest.
Didn't you two get
Thank
that?
you very much.
Didn't you two get that one? The J. Scott Campbell one?
We did, yeah.
Picked up, didn't I? Oh,
Owen Wilson. Yes, thank you, Triple G.
Wilson. We've got Jonathan Majors, actor name.
But yeah, that's Jonathan Majors. He played Kang, didn't he? Yeah,
But yeah, it is a great cover. It is. You've picked some good ones there, Tom. You have. And then obviously to finish it off, just to let everyone know again that it's Christmas time. It's payday. Well, for me, it's payday tomorrow. I'm sure it's payday for everyone else. So why wouldn't you go and flash the cash and spend money on your comics? 50% off. Tom, do you want to say any more?
Well, that's it. You basically said it, mate. So yeah, basically everything on Not Quite Mint, apart from the CGCs, is 50% off. I mean everything. You know, we're talking key issues, we're talking back issues, we're talking exclusives, we're talking art print. Everything is 50% off except for CGC. Now, if you think about the exclusives, they normally retail about 15 to 20 quid. So you're getting that for an absolute steal. So it's well worth having a go over and have a look at what you've got. I would suggest, guys, if you're going to go over and have a look at Not Quite Mint, there's quite a lot of stuff. So have a good old scroll. Don't just go on the first page and see the stuff and be like, well, there's not much on here I'm interested in. Have a good scroll because there's about 500 books, key issues on Not Quite Mint. And there's a lot of Uncanny X-Men. So please go and have a decent look.
I had a little look and it's fair to say that a lot has sold, but there is a lot of X-Men books and a lot of key books there that are certainly worth more than what they're currently being sold at 50% off. So I would strongly agree that everybody should go and check it out pretty quickly, because you go in, you stick them in your cart, you buy them 50% off, and you almost feel like a thief when you walk out. Like a thief.
And let's just say, like, even though Not Quite Mint is the comic shop of the Killer Comic Show, we still buy comics from other shops. So it's not like we're just saying this because Tom's part of the show and he's got his the Killer Comic Show comic shop. We're not just saying this, we're not being biased. The stuff that Tom sends out is fantastic. It's perfectly shipped. But we do buy stuff from other comic shops as well. But 50% off some of the amazing, I mean, for instance, One Dark Knight is going for $4.99. You can pick up for $275. $275. You can pick up for £2.75.
You can spend $275. That's great.
Not quite ripped off, but yeah, you can pick up for £2.75. So why wouldn't you get over? But yeah, it's Christmas time. Have a little spend up. Treat yourself.
And I agree, Charlie. Tom is definitely the perfect shipper.
Thank you.
He is. And on that note, this is going to be the last time we hear it this year. Maybe. And I just love the fact that I've got you here, Andy, and we've got Triple G in the chat, and it just feels so fitting to do this.
This is Andy's fault from Perpetual Comics. Pep.
love it. I am never ever getting a new segment. I love it. It's fantastic.
Never, nor should you, mate.
Absolutely. Thank you to Triple G for that. So these are the killer indies for next week, December the 22nd.
Sorry, I was just looking at Jeremy's haha, that intro video is so good. It is. And honestly, if you ever get the privilege to meet Triple G, just don't accept shots of him, because you never know what you're going to get. Unless it's Jaeger Bomb or Black Sambuca. He bought us ones at Full Bubble, but
At Triple Bubble.
At Triple Bubble, yeah. Triple Bubble.
Listen, I'm Scottish, and there was drinks that I had never actually heard of that I was drinking, thanks to Triple G. So yeah.
But there we go.
First up, we have House of Slaughter issue number 3 from Boom Studios. My nerves have kicked in because I'm like, I didn't check to see if I put the right logo for each of the comics, so I'm hoping that I did.
I double checked. I hope I picked him as well.
Good man. So House of Slaughter issue number 3, written by James Tynion and Weatherdale Adera on the art. And I've read issue 1. I've got issue 2 to read. But the solicits say, as the house leaders discuss the fate of the last butcher, Aaron and Jace escape the watchful eye of Helen and the White Masks and sneak into the forbidden outreaches of Chicago. Then, in the present day, Aaron finally comes face to face with the monster that he's been tracking, which is much more powerful than expected. Lads, are you enjoying this?
I thought issue 2 is stronger than issue 1.
Okay.
Issue 2, I really, really enjoyed.
I need
really,
to catch
really
up.
enjoyed.
I definitely,
think
because I've got a feeling one of you guys are going to pick issue 3 or 4 or 5 for the reads. And I'm going to have to read them all at once.
Issue number 2 for me, as I think I mentioned, was it's more about character building and the relationship than it is the story. And it's, this cover for me looks great, and I'm really looking forward to this. I think Boom Studios and James Tynion know what they're doing, and I think they've been pretty smart with it. They know they're not going to tread on the toes of something that's killing the children, but they're doing it subtly in a way where people are going to be like, oh, actually, House of Slaughter is slowly picking up. They're slowly picking up momentum. So
it'll be standalone sort of thing.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's almost like the only thing you need to know from something that's killing the children is what's killing the children. That's literally it. Everything else is brand spanking new in this.
Yep. So yeah, that's a great pick. Oh, how the chicken.
I knew that would be a reaction.
Chicken.
Yeah.
My God.
One of our favourites. This is Chicken Devil, issue number 3, written by Brian Buccellato.
You butchered that.
I Buccellato.
Buccellato. Yeah, Buccellato.
Brian's writing it, and Hayden Sherman is the artist on this. So this has been great. Everything about this book is fantastic. It's just a really enjoyable experience when you're reading it, even if you can't pronounce the writer's surname. Apologies.
Oh, mate, I'm fine. I do that all the time.
Oh, honestly.
I don't pronounce my own name.
So the synopsis for this one is: the walls closing around the world's newest and perhaps only chicken-inspired vigilante as the Russian mob turns up the heat. But that's cool because Mitchell Moss thinks he has nothing to lose. He might be a flightless bird in a devil suit, but he still has surprise up his wing. Beware the ball pit of death.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I love that cover. I think it's great.
This story's just been wicked. And I just love the fact that Chicken Devil has his own Twitter account.
And I think that's pretty cool, to be fair. It's clever.
And we say this every week. We don't know if Aftershock have done this or someone has just set it up on the wing.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
I liked it. I ignored it, but I liked it.
I wasn't going to bring attention to it, but it was good.
Yeah, exactly. Bring attention to your own jokes.
But it's true what Marcus said. Do you think there's ever been a guy that's been dressed as a chicken that's had the worst day than this guy? Like, let's be honest, in issue 1, his family died. And then in issue 2, his mate died. It's just his mate died, and he's just dressed as a chicken.
It's a calamity. It's almost like it's a little bit slapstick, but it's slapstick in a really good way. So yeah.
Yeah, look, straight up, there used to be a fast food place up here in Aberdeen called Chicken Hut. Alas, it is not more.
Maybe that's where they drew their inspiration from.
There we go. And Triple G said Aftershock are killing it at the moment. They literally are. They really, really are.
Especially
really
in this book.
Oh, 100%.
Every single issue.
Chicken Devil, Ball Pit of Hell. Great pick, Andy.
Next up,
This would have been on my killer keys.
So yeah, it's something that is maybe not normally in my radar, as much as I do enjoy Noctera, but this was the Blacktop Bill special, again written by Scott Snyder and Tony S. Daniel, doing the artwork. So it was. I think there's going to be at least one new character introduced in this, which will then lead on into the main book. It says, "Behold." It was there. Oh, there we go. It says, "Behold the book of Blacktop Bill in the wake of the first arc's explosive finale. The origin of Noctera's most terrifying creature will at last be revealed in this special one-shot issue." So, Tom, is there a new character been introduced?
There is essentially, yes. There are a couple of new extra characters. So there's brand spanking first appearance, who's of a character that's going to progress in the story, and then you get to find out about Blacktop Bill's real name and where he came from. So who he was originally before he became Blacktop Bill. His name isn't Blacktop Bill.
Ah, okay. Ooh. So I've actually got this on my pull list to pick up, and there's a really cool. I think it's cover C. And it's just a black
that's one.
Cover
I was literally just going to say that. Yeah,
I
was going to say
class.
that.
So I've picked
it looks amazing, and that's kind of Noctera. I've loved this.
Is that the
issue number
Capullo
one?
cover?
No, it's the. I don't actually know. I'm looking at it now. It's the Noctera Blacktop Bill special blackout cover variant. It looks awesome. I thought
Capullo had done it, because it's, if you look at the teeth, it's very.
It looks very much like yeah. But yeah, this is a great pick. Andy, you're killing it tonight.
Yeah, man. You're making my keys look shit.
No, not at all.
You're both
that's the beauty of the Killer Comics Show. We all sort of like different things. So, and I'm sure there's lots of people that are watching that don't necessarily read indies or enjoy indies, and vice versa for Marvel and DC. So just bring a little bit of everything.
We need to mix it up next year, mate. So that when we first come back, we'll do the Killer Keys, where they'll all be indies, and then your picks will just be Andy's picks, and it'll all be Marvel.
Yeah, I'll just do Andy's Marvel picks.
Can we just take a moment to notice that you guys do everything? I just flick a button and go through the slides. So you pick the Killer Keys, you pick the indies. I don't have no picks. So you guys are actually killing it.
But Charlie, you're such a professional button flicker.
He is a professional button flicker.
Well, I've got 3 kids, so I must be flicking something. Anyway, there we go.
You are the hostess with the mostest, mate.
Absolute filth, honestly. Moving on very swiftly, guys. Merry Christmas. Is that just 2 beers in, Charlie, as well? Is that your third one?
No, it's 2 that I've had since we started the show, but there was 2 before that.
Oh my goodness! Oh,
nice.
Let's get finished quick, Tom. Hurry up. Next up, we've got Eat the Rich, issue number 5. This you brought this book to my attention, and it was on my reading pile, but it was one of those ones I wasn't too sure if I was going to dive into. But you said, like, we're going to do issue number 4, which forced me into reading the 4 issues, and I'm glad I did. So issue number 5, written by Sarah Gailey, and Puke Back is doing the art. Hope to goodness I pronounced that correctly. And this is Till Death Us Do Part. Astor finally proposes, but the cost of marrying into the 1% is too terrible for Joey to even contemplate. Too bad saying no isn't an option if she wants to get out of Crestfall in one piece. With the horrible truth fully revealed, can Joey escape her proposal, much too rich for her blood, or will she get eaten alive by the secrets of the rich and powerful? So this is the final issue of this arc, I believe, Charlie?
Yes. And
they have 100% spoiled the story with that synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? I don't know. I think there might be a few twists and turns in this issue, because that's instantly what I thought. I didn't think that this is Boom Studios. I'm hoping, based on my Boom Studios logo there. I didn't think they'd be that silly to ruin it for everybody. So I think there might be a few twists and turns to lead into the.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I don't think they would have given it away that much. But then you don't know. Is it a double bluff? They might have. Yeah. You don't know. But it has been a great read.
Terrible.
Yeah, but it has been a really, really good read. So yeah, Andy, you've picked some absolute beauties there, mate. And obviously, head over to Instagram, give it a little scan. Give Not Quite Mint a little scan, and follow.
That would be lovely, because I'm nearly at 900 followers on Instagram. that would be great. Haven't been posting a huge amount over the last while just because I've been so busy at work, but hoping to pick that up for the rest of the year and into 2022. So if you can go and give me a
Hold on
follow
one
there.
second. You did just drop an absolute beauty the other day of a 1 in 50 silver foil cover for Batman 118 by the one and only Jock. So don't say you ain't been doing nothing. When you do, you drop bombs.
I did drop that silver beauty into my timeline, and I've actually got it here ready to send away to get graded. So, on a side note, I've looked up to see who was doing that Noctera cover, and it is Tony S. Daniel that's doing the cover. And the reason, Tom, the reason you thought it was Capullo is because Capullo, if you remember, done Spawn issue number 70 with the teeth, and they also done the Batman Who Laughs, Batman Who Laughs as well with the teeth as well. So.
Yeah, that's why I just assumed it was Capullo because of that reason.
Instantly, that's what I thought as well. That's what I thought.
Well, I'm going to take a moment just to say cheers to you guys and everyone in the chat. And ABZ Comics has just cracked open a Tenants, so enjoy, mate. Just
on a
quick
completely separate note, right? You know, Andy, you were just saying you're almost at 1,000 Instagram followers, right? 900-ish. Yeah. So my company that I work for on a daily basis have been on Instagram for years, and they're constantly posting stuff and they're constantly doing that and this. I had a glorious moment this morning where my boss was like, "How many followers have you got on Instagram, Tom?" I was like, "I don't know, 1,600 and something." And she was like, "Oh, we only have 500." And I literally was like,
and tomorrow Tom is sacked.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't watch this show. We're too beneath them.
That's absolutely shocking. But it's always good. It's always good when you get one up on your company. And talking about getting one up, I think if we have a look at the quick at the votes of the comic cover of the year, we've got in third place we've got Batgirl's #1 with Tom's cover. In second place, we've got myself with G.I. Joe, 289, and then running away with it is Andy with Joshua Middleton's variant for Batgirls 1. So it seems Andy is going to finish off the year with a clean slate. So well done, sir. Have a good Christmas, you lot. I think Poptimus is off.
Merry Christmas.
I'll probably speak to you in a couple of hours. I'll speak to you tomorrow when we bump into each other on Comic Kingdom of Canada. We always seem to bump into each other about 1-2 o'clock in the morning, and then we just do some random buys. But yeah, that's the indie picks. That's the killer keys. And then obviously Comics versus the World started this, and it doesn't seem to be slowing up anytime soon. We've got the killer trades for December 22nd. Andy, sir, you are up first with a fantastic pick.
I may have missed it, but we normally have Comics versus the World saying hello right at the start and saying you have to bounce out. So I'm hoping everything's okay. I'm worried now, but I'm sure he'll catch a rewind. So yeah, my pick for this was Philadelphia Volume 3. This is home as well. The Hatred is trade paperback. It's 192 pages, and it's going to come in roughly about $16.99. So you're probably talking about 14-15 quid. So this is written by Rodney Barnes and art by Christopher Mitten. And this is due out in December 22nd, and this is a great run. I'm only up to finishing the first volume on this, and I would truly recommend it to anybody who loves a good read. It isn't hot like pure horror, Tom, if that's what you're thinking. I mean the covers don't suggest that, but this is fantastic. This is going to be picked up for a movie or a TV show if it's not already been optioned.
100%.
And I feel like it's a very under the radar book, and there's only a certain group of people that seem to be reading it consistently. I can't recommend this book enough.
Honestly, this was, I think I picked up issue #1 way back when from A Place in Space and was like, wonder what's going to go on with this story. And I've loved it. I really have loved it. I don't know if we've offended Tom.
I think he's got too scared by that cover. So Philadelphia, this is actually, I forgot to say, this is issues 13 to 18 and also part 2 of the werewolf tie-in story, if anybody is wondering. So yeah, definitely go and check it out.
But yeah, Triple J has said he can't wait to read Philadelphia 3 Volume 2 ended on such a cliffhanger. It did, and I'm really interested to see how that pans out. And Jeremy's like, God, I wish I had a beer right now.
We'll send him one via Amazon courier.
I've got plenty, mate. I've got plenty.
I wish I had another beer, to be honest with you.
I wish I was allowed to have a beer.
True.
So yeah, Philadelphia Volume 3. Up next, we've got Venom Epic Collection Lethal Protector trade paperback. This is a mammoth 480 pages, coming in at a reasonable price of $44.99, to be fair, which is probably about 40 quid. 40 quid.
50 boy.
Various writers, various artists.
So quid a page. A quid 100 pages.
But this ties into a vast array of comics that is tying in from the Amazing Spider-Man from 1963, which is 361 to 363 to 374. Spider-Man: A Trial of Venom, Web of Spider-Man, 95 to 96. Ghost Rider: Blaze, Spirits of Vengeance, 5 and 6. Venom: Lethal Protector, 1 to 6.
Great run.
It is a great run.
Incredible run. And then we've got Marvel Comics Presents, which is 117 to 122, and then Amazing Spider-Man 373 to 375. So for 40 quid, say it, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, to be fair. You're getting a lot. It's 480 pages, 40 odd quid.
And quite a lot of those books are hard to get hold of.
They are. They really, really are. So for 40 odd quid, you're kind of getting a lot for your money, and it's pretty much worth investing, to be fair. And it's going to be a solid, nice book as well.
Especially if you have those single issues, because some of them are kind of sought after and they're worth a few quid. So if you don't want to be like reading them, buy this would be perfect.
And I think ABC said it looks like a great read. I think it does. Definitely does. So that's from Marvel. And then obviously we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer Legacy Edition, Book 6, 320 pages, coming in at £30, or probably about £26, basically. This is Josh Whedon and Scott Lobdell, and it's Paul Lee as the main artist, but there are various artists and various writers, as you can see under the Josh Whedon title as well. I don't really know much about Buffy, but there does seem to be a cult following of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Boom Studios. This was previously written, so this carries on from the previous stories written by Dark Horse Comics. Now, I know Boom Studios did take over from that, so this is obviously from 51 to 63, previously published by Dark Horse Comics. But Buffy the Vampire Slayer does have a big following, and she does seem to be consistently pumping out the goods at Boom Studios. So she must be doing something right.
Definitely does have a cult following, 100%. Like, you know, especially the original TV series and stuff like that. So it seems, even if you actually look on like League of Comic Geeks, the amount of Buffy books that there are, it's crazy.
And apparently, according to Avey, says you don't want to be eating issue 361 while drinking Tennants and eating pickled onion Monster Munch. No, okay. Don't really know what to say about that. He is
reading.
Tennant's like on pickled onion Monster Munch is like the staple diet of Scotland.
That sounds like a great night in. That sounds like a great night in. I hope my
I'm literally going to do that now without Tennants.
But that is the trade paperbacks and hardcovers for this week. But to end the year on a high, we thought it was only right to do the 2021 Killer Picks, the end of the year. So obviously we've read so many comics over this year. We've read so many comics, we've done so many covers, we've covered so much. And we thought it was only right. It was Tom's idea to begin with, wasn't it really? So if you want to take over from me, sir? Yeah, go on, son.
Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, basically we had a bit of a chit chat on our little group chat. And I said, I kind of come up with this idea that it would be nice to tell you guys exactly what books we've really enjoyed this year over all the shows we've done, after all the books we've read. What is our top killer? What is our top binner? What is our top cover? And what other comic books that we could recommend to you guys going into the new year that you should have picked up this year, but you know, going into the new year, while you got the Christmas break, pick them up and read them. So we thought we'd have a crack at it. So yeah. Put it to these guys and they're like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, let's do it.
So this is 2021 Killer Picks, end of the year in a nutshell.
It's quite emotional. I feel as if there should be like some like theme music. Like it seems quite.
Do you know what it is? It's I'm not being funny. Like obviously you guys are absolutely amazing. I love spending my Thursday nights with you, but 50 shows, it's an accomplishment.
I've spent more time with you guys than I have with other people.
Do you know what?
True.
It's massive. So again, I just want to give a massive thank you to you two for spending every Thursday night with me and making this enjoyable. I want to give a massive shout out to every single person from 2021 up to right now who has spent their time on a Thursday night in the chat. It's been great. We've got so much planned for you next year, so make sure you're along for the ride. But Andy, Mr. Perpetual, you are up first.
So
What's that in the-
this
what's that in the corner?
was a very, very difficult choice because there has been so much quality, so much good writing, so much great artwork, and I think overall for me, my killer comic that I will happily go back to time and time again is The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, written by Ram V and artwork by Felipe Andrade. I think we had the pleasure of reading every single issue of this, and when you look over the last 50 episodes, wow, that seems weird to say 50 episodes, but when you look over those 50 episodes, I think there's maybe only like 2 or 3 books where we consistently read every single issue. Now, this was
Well, I
only
actually have done that.
right. Yeah,
And there is only 5 titles that we have consistently read: Dark Blood, Layla Starr, Made in Korea, Shadecraft, and then there is another one, but I've forgotten.
Sea of Sorrows.
Sea of Sorrows.
Tom, you're my hero, man. You are an absolute legend.
Yeah, that one. Wow, put that way. So yeah, this is my killer comic. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, it's one of those a little bit like Made in Korea. It's like a lesson in life book, where I think it was, what was it, maybe issue number 2 or number 3.
Number
Like
3, I think.
really stopped me in my tracks. It was very, very close to some personal family stuff going on in my life. And it just blew my mind. And I actually thanked Ram at Thought Bubble for it. And yeah, I can't recommend this enough to everybody. I keep talking, I keep preaching about this book all the time. And definitely go and pick up the trade paperback.
Tom?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely amazing book. I actually missed a couple of issues because I was away from the show, but I went back and reread this and read it all the way up to the end. And like Andy said, it is one of those books that you could go back and reread and reread. But I think it's also one of those books you could go back and reread and find something you didn't see the first time around. And that's a beautiful thing about these books, is if you go back and find something you didn't find the first time, you're going to go back and read it again just in case there's something else you might have missed. So quality, hats off to Ramby. What an incredible writer.
But you know what I've noticed about doing all this is that we have such similar tastes and we kind of don't think so. Either one of us could pick this comic. Either one of us could have done this and gave a review about it. So it might be Andy's pick, but we've all enjoyed every single issue of it. So massive shout out to Ramby. And Layla Starr hit really close to home with me. So yes, absolutely fantastic. Great pick there, Andy. Up next. Another. You've just literally look at this.
This should just be the killer comics picks of 2021. I think we set out to like do our top picks each, and then what we found is in our chat we discovered like we were picking the same thing, and that's I think that's representative of how good the books are, because we've read a lot of diverse different stuff through those 50 shows, but for me, we've touched on issue number 6 and we've given all the reasons why it's fantastic and why this book is absolutely great. If anybody takes anything away from the last 50 episodes and particularly from this last episode of this year, is go on to your LCS or to your favorite website and pick up pre-order Made in Korea, the trade paperback, to make sure that we get volume 2. And I guarantee you'll thank us. You'll thank us afterwards, because, as I say, for me, between this book and Layla Starr, I use the word masterpiece. It is absolutely superb. And I know that Tom had picked this up as an honourable mention as well.
Yeah, this would have been my pick of the year, but I thought someone else would pick it, so I diversed. However, I totally agree with you. It's an honourable mention. This is one of the best books I've read this year by 100%, and personal, really, because we've obviously we are friends with Jeremy, sort of. But personally, some of the stuff that Jesse goes through, I have personally been through in certain areas. And I think anyone that picks up this book and doesn't find something relatable in it, you don't have a soul.
Mhm.
because this book is so relatable in so many different levels, for so many different reasons, and it hits so many different kind of aspects on lots of different people's radars, and that is incredible to be that diverse within a book, and that is how the world should be, that diverse. And I love this book for that. So guys, if you're going to get anything at Christmas, make sure this bad boy is on your Christmas list.
I just want to say this was my honourable mention as well, but I couldn't fit my logo on it at the same size as the other two because my OCD kicked in, so I kind of left it out.
All right, okay, we all know your
It's your
logo's
show.
bigger than ours. We all know your logo's bigger than ours, Charlie.
No, it's not. It just had a Christmas hat on. But this is it. Look, so I can just say, right, so our opinions in the grand scheme of things don't matter. We review comics. There are personal opinions. We tell everyone what we think about comics. But comments like this mean a lot to me. I don't know if it means, I'm sure it means a lot to you guys as well, but we kind of do the show on a weekly basis. I have the Many Deaths of Lola Star on my Xmas read list, bought a whole run based on Andy's recommendation, just sitting ready to go on the shelf and looking forward to it. So that's from ABZ Comics. It's comments like this that just keep us doing the show week in, week out, because the fact is that we're three guys, we read comics like the rest of you in the chat and stuff, and we enjoy doing it. And the fact is that you take what we say and you go and buy your comics. It means a lot to us, so thank you very much. So I just want to say that.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, that's pretty cool to hear that, ABZ. And I think there's been a few other people that have said something quite similar for like Tom and Charlie's picks as well. And as you say, Charlie, we're just three guys that read comics and enjoy doing this on a Thursday. If anybody gets anything out of that, then fantastic. But more importantly, it's opening people up to different creators, different books that might have not already touched on. And for me, that's the point of the Killer Comic Show.
Well, it did that for me. A lot of these books would have gone under the radar for me, especially like some of the indie books that you've picked, Andy, would have gone under the radar for me. I probably would never have picked them up without doing this show. And it says huge things when one of the people that's in the chat and one of the regulars on a Thursday night said that it's Andy's fault. The stuff he bought is Andy's fault, and now
he's blaming us again.
This entire show.
You guys cost me a bloody fortune. That's what we're doing.
I normally just hear that from my missus, is that it's my fault all the time. So it's nice to come on here on a Thursday and hear it from everybody else.
But so yeah, this is a fantastic comic. What we got next? Oh, look at this. Tom,
I'm sorry, Tom.
You can turn
That's fine, mate. I feel like my fear of clowns has been conquered because of you guys.
Yeah, this is Haha issue number 1. This is a John Gallagher Wanted Comics exclusive.
Have you cosplayed as this, Andy?
I did. I done this. This was for the Red Nose Day that Ben had put on. So yeah, definitely go and check out that video. That was fun. That was a good night. I was lucky enough to pick this book up from Wanted Comics, and if there is any retailers out there that you're thinking of picking up comics, Wanted Comics would be one of them. They're fantastic. Their service is really, really good. But this cover spoke to me in many different ways. And I bought this. This is a trade, obviously, and I bought the Virgin variant as well, and I've got it CGC'd. So I love this comic. I love the comic, full stop, and I love the cover. So
very nice, mate.
Sorry, Andy, I've just got to say, ABZ says, Made in Korea is a prime example too. I would not have picked that up myself without the show, so thank you for that. Comics are about original stories and where the art helps tell the story. MIK does that. Yes, it does indeed. Sean is saying, Andy is the reason I'm 8 boxes deep in comics after 16 months.
Oh, no.
John Gallagher has been killing it with the covers over as well.
100%.
Yes, and some of the crossover ones are immense. Some of the Ice Cream Man that he's done as well are incredible, and it sounds like a good trend to have at panels in a half pint superhero. Yes, it does. So yeah, this is a fantastic cover. And then I never thought
Winner of the year.
So I was kind of hesitant to do a Binner of the Year. I know we do like, is it a winter killer or a binner, but I guess for us, like everybody likes different things, different comics and stuff like that, and we try to be as positive as we possibly can especially me being a Scotsman. But for me, and I'm sorry, Tom, because I know that this is dear to your heart, Transformers, and this was one of your picks, but I thought for me that this was the Binner of the Year because it was the only comic that I started and I didn't finish.
Yeah, says a lot.
Yeah. So that was for me. And believe it or not, Tom, I have tried to go back and reread it. And I got to the first page. So this was my winner.
I literally opened the book and shut the book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this was my winner, but don't take my word for it. Go and check it out.
No, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money or your time.
Go to Not Quite Mint, because there's one copy on there.
Right. The first person to go to Not Quite Mint and pick up this book, I will send them some comics from my collection. There we go. There's your
job done.
Merry Christmas.
You're going to get someone from the States buying that.
That's all right. Merry Christmas.
Andy, you've got a lot to answer for, mate. Like ABC says, comics panels and a half. When you start replacing your box springs under your mattress for an array of long boxes, then you know you have a problem.
I have that problem.
We're going to get so many emails and calls saying, my husband, blah, 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 we couldn't afford Christmas presents this year for the kids because they've just bought 15 copies of Made in Korea.
Can someone do like a t-shirt graphic and we can do some like merch with it's just Andy's fault?
It's Andy's fault. Yes,
just my face.
100% we'll do that. So that was your winner of the year. I've 100% got to agree with you for that. What else have we got? And obviously 2022 upcoming.
Yes, for me, actually, there was so many solicits over the last couple of days for books that are coming out in 2022 that I was kind of like, which one do I pick? But I can't remember the last time that I was so intrigued and so excited for a book that not only was a character that I enjoy, not love, but I really enjoy. It's DC Black Label, but it's just because it's also by my favorite comic creator, Jock. Not only is he doing the artwork, which is impeccable, which we've seen, but he's doing the cover art and he's also doing the writing on this. And I think it's almost like if you want Jock to write about two characters, for me, it would be Batman and Judge Dredd, because they're both close to his heart and effectively what I think he's known for and does the best. So I can't wait. This is obviously out, what is it, next week? First issue.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see what when the trade comes out, because hopefully we'll be able to get Jock back on the show and chat to him about the trade and the 3 issues and see what's coming up next for him, because I don't think this will be the only thing that he's going to be writing for.
Right, damn well shouldn't be.
No.
He's down in London at Forbidden Planet in Leicester Square on Wednesday or Tuesday, I think it is. So I think I might just head down there and
okay, I'll book my train.
Book my train. There we go. There we go. So that's Andy's 2021 picks. Tom, you're up next, sir. Oh, see what I mean? Like, this is
good choice.
Good choice.
So choice. I would have picked Made in Korea, but I went for my second choice, which is Shadecraft, and this actually is one of my favorite books this year. I read the solicitation for this, and I thought this is going to be a bit. I'm not sure, but I picked this one for one of our one of our reads that week, because I fancied it. I just fancied something a bit different, and because we were doing lots of things different, I thought, I'll get on the bandwagon and I'll pick an indie. If it's crap, at least I'll try it. This was by far one of my favorite books this year for a lot of different reasons, but mainly because the creators in this, Henderson and Garbutt, they wrote this during lockdown when they had nothing else to do. They wrote this incredible book, which shows if you give a writer and artist enough time and enough kind of leeway, they will come up with something absolutely incredible. This book was incredible, and I would recommend you go out and get it, guys, because the story is essentially that this girl struggles with the loss of her brother, and she's frightened of her own shadow, and it all develops from there about her brother and shadows, and from the title you can tell sort of what might happen. Some of the twists and turns that happen in this book are incredible with her mom and some of the other bits and bobs that go on. It's brilliant. So good. Massively recommend it. It has been optioned as a TV series, so that just says everything. Hopefully everyone else enjoyed this book too.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I think the one thing that put me off at the start, even before I'd read the first issue, is the fact that I knew that it was optioned, because I kind of go, it's going to be another one. But for me, it was amazing. The writing is amazing. The artwork is just crisp. It's lovely. It's enjoyable to look at and to consume as a story. and I'm really intrigued to see what the next volume looks like as well.
And even Jock did a cover for it, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah,
we did. Great pick.
Yeah, so my cover pick is the Iron Man issue 12 Raz cover. I absolutely love this. And I probably wouldn't have picked it up until Andy said to me, this cover is going to be good. And so I picked it up. It is incredible. The picture does not do it justice. In hand, this is one of the nicest covers that I've seen this year by far. And if Marvel did cardstock, it'd be even better. It is incredible, this book. The colours,
right, they've got to start doing it, surely. They have to start doing cardstock. They've got to.
They've got
some of the covers they're putting out, like, this is great. Tom, this is a great cover pick, man.
The problem with this image itself and looking at it on the internet is you can't see close enough that the discs, the spinny discs he's got, one is Venom's logo, the other one is Spider-Man's logo.
Nice.
But you can't see that unless you get the actual book in hand.
And the little Iron Man bobblehead, and even the detail on the side of the leather jacket as well. Like, everybody wants that leather jacket.
Tom, I think you need to do an Instagram post where you take close-up pictures of it just to show this.
Yeah, I will do. Good idea.
Thank you very much. Cool. Right, there we go. Oh.
And just as if by magic, my binner of the year is this steaming pile of crap. This is like Transformers is my favorite thing of all time. Biggest Transformers fan you could possibly get. I know all the lore. I know about all the characters that you've never even heard of, all the obscure characters, everything. Omnicron actually is a Transformer, by the way. Just saying. But this book is awful. IDW, what were you thinking? This book is awful. There's a TV show episode where Springer and Razorclaw end up in a completely different world where they go to a medieval castle. That episode is shit. This is worse. This is far worse. Don't buy it. Don't buy it unless you want to go to notquitemin.com and buy my issue and get some free comics from Andy.
Can't agree with you more.
That's it.
I can't. But Tom, like you're normally normally Tom is like the most positive of the three of us, but I've never heard him saying steaming pile of a shit twice in one show. This is an absolute record.
I'm feeling good. Feeling good today, guys.
But you know, I think I was away for this show, and I still read it, and was still like, "Oh my god, what have I done?"
I apologise. I completely apologise.
Oh, it's not on Not Quite Mint. Just try to buy it.
Oh, so it's gone. Someone must have bought it today.
It's gone. Oh, what a shame.
What a shame.
You need to look at the timestamp, Tom, to see if it was during the show. If it was somebody during the show, then I'll send some comics.
Okay, mate, we'll do. I'll have a look.
And then, Tom, your last pick of 2021 is...
So my choice for coming up in 2022 that I'm really excited about, and I don't know if you guys have read Saga, but Saga is one of the best books, period, that I've read for a very, very long time. Brian K. Vaughan did incredible things for 54 issues, and they pulled at your heartstrings. They played with your mind. It was a great series, so I would recommend you go and read it. It is a bit of a slog because it's obviously 54 issues, but you can buy the compendiums, and they are amazing. They're really nicely bound. They're really, really good. And obviously, Fiona Staples' artwork is insane. So I am looking forward to seeing what the next chapter is of Saga. Now, she's all grown up and everything's changed. I'm really, really excited to see what happens with this. So, yeah, I'm massively excited for this one. However, if I'd have got the news that I got yesterday, I might have changed my pick because The White Knight by Sean Murphy is getting a third part, and it is about Batman Beyond. So that I am extremely excited for. And I really hope that as a team, we can get that bad boy on the show.
In the Murphyverse, we trust.
In the Murphyverse, we trust.
I think that was massive news that dropped yesterday. That was incredible. Like that was great news.
The artwork is like the artwork as well. Sorry, Charlie, but you guys sent me a couple of those, and I just couldn't. It was like you just instantly knew it was going to go on your pull list, and you were going to get both covers and probably all the variants.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. Because like going into the future, we'll talk after Christmas about Not Quite Mint's future, but I will be getting my comics from Galactic Comics from now on, and I ordered mine straight away.
So it's as if by magic they were listening. I've just got some exclusive news, hot off the press, right, from his lovely wife, Katana Collins. I speak to her now and again. I messaged her earlier and said, "Can you just would you see if Sean would be able to come on the show next year? Because obviously with his new comic dropping, would it be up for it?" I'm literally looking at my other laptop. She says, "Of course, I would definitely ask for you. Why don't you send him a formal invite to him as well? And I'll tell him that he must keep an eye out for it."
Yes. Dropping exclusive news.
There we go. So
Also on the exclusive news, our favourite person has just dropped into the chat. Here she is.
Merry
The
Christmas,
glamorous.
Latoya. Merry Christmas, Latoya.
Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for joining.
Charlie,
Thank you.
You're going to have
so
to play
much.
our new intro because Latoya hasn't seen it.
At the end, I will play our new intro. And actually, do you know what, Latoya? As you're here and you've joined us, let me just play it quickly for you now. Here we go.
This.
Welcome to the Color Comic Show.
Welcome to the Color Comic Show. Yes, mate.
How cool is
I
that?
love
Thank
that.
you so much, Latoya, for taking the time to do that. You are always welcome on the show whenever you feel like it.
What
Just
a
drop us a
legend.
message.
Absolute
Seasons.
delight to deal with. Absolute
Season's
hero.
greetings, mates. And look, you're a fan favourite as well. You're an absolute fan favourite, Latoya. I see me, love it. Thank you so much for doing it. So yeah, we've just dropped some exclusive news. Potentially next year we will have the one and only, the creator of the multiverse, the creator of the Sean Murphy multiverse. He might be on the show. So fingers crossed, we will let you know. Latoya Morgan, she was so happy to do it for us. Thank you so much. So Tom, yeah, you've the saga continues. So that was your upcoming pick for 2022. Yep. Over to me now. See, look, my logo's got a little Christmas hat on it. Look at this, right? So,
yeah.
So we've got Stillwater by the fantastic Chip Zdarsky and obviously Raymond Perez. Now, Stillwater 2021 was amazing. It was incredible. Always on point. Amazing read, consistent read. And I think it was just right to pick this as my killer comic of the year. It was great. And I can't wait for it to continue.
But you know what? The best thing about this, doing this little bit at the end of the show, every single killer that we've said so far, I have no disagreements. They're all one I personally would have said, yeah, read of the year for me, 100%.
And I think interestingly enough, if you probably to ask the viewers, what would be representative of killer comics and the three of us, I think we pretty much nailed it with regards to all our killer picks and our honourable mention, to be fair.
So this is my comic pick of the year. Obviously among many, but this is the one that I had to go for because you two had picked my other two. So yes, I went for this. For my 2021 killer cover pick, I went for the Wonder Woman Black and Gold.
Is this the only one you've won cover of the week with?
No, it isn't. I didn't win it with this because we started doing it after this was released. This is obviously the Warren. Cover. This is the Warren Lau card stock variant beat. This is incredible. This is amazing. This is such a great cover. So yeah, I had to pick this. And then I had the 2021 Binner comic of the year. Now, I didn't go with Grimlock because I thought, I read it, but it was unfair because I wasn't on the show. But I went for Berserker because. Now, don't get me wrong, we had Matt Kint on the show. We had the writer of this comic on the show. And don't get me wrong, it was all hyped up to be a great comic. The premise of it was a great comics. But then issue 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever it's on now, I just didn't enjoy it. And I just thought it wasn't, the hype that surrounded it wasn't worth it. It didn't do it justice. So there might have been worse comics out there that people would have read. But for me, this was the worst read of my 2021.
I think this is the biggest letdown of 2021.
100%. Yep.
I think you've nailed it, Tom. Yeah, I'd say letdown more than worst read because I hear that it is like for people that have stuck on to it. Like I only read issue 1, I must admit, and I probably will at some point try and read the other ones. But I think what put me off instantly was just that 1 in 1,000 stuff that was going on with all the shops, and it was like returnables and stuff like that. It just felt a little bit too much. And yeah, we had Matt on, and Matt was absolutely fantastic. And hopefully, even after this, we'll get him on again at some point. Thanks, Charlie.
No, but don't get me wrong. The premise of it was great, but I just think the hype surrounding it didn't do the story justice. And the 1 in 1,000 cover that sold for like, I think it sold for like $4,000, was done by another friend of the show, John Boy Mayers. So it's all done for a good cause. I just think sometimes there's comments that come along that ain't great.
I know, 100%. You remember? I think it was issue 8 that Matt had said that that was his favourite issue. So I think that's the one where I'm looking forward to getting to, and then I might consume them all from 1 to 8 and just see where it goes, because you know, Matt knows what he's talking about. So
my biggest problem with this book is it felt very much like I was reading Old Guard, which is annoying because Old Guard is great, and I was like, this didn't need to happen, this book. But yet, you know, I'm not saying it's a bad book. Like I said, I think this is my biggest disappointment of 2020. I wanted it to be so much better. And
to finish it off, I've gone with 2022 upcoming pick, and it's Noctera, the continuation of Noctera number 7. It was ended on a fantastic cliffhanger on issue number 6. So I'm very, very much forward to starting the year off with Noctera issue number 7. And I think the way with lockdowns going, we're all going to be locked down, nowhere to go, comics to read, not allowed outside your front door. So why wouldn't you start with a post-apocalyptic, enjoyable comic?
That actually sounds quite enjoyable for someone.
It really does, doesn't it?
Like
with pickled onion monster munch and
Tenant's Lager. Oh yeah,
I'm all over that.
And furry pies. So, but yeah, guys, that's 2021 done.
It's quite emotional.
It's totes emotional. Massive shout out to you two for being here week in, week out.
Can I just say thank you to you, mate, for like inviting us on, because this was you, all you and only you, and then you invited us on this show, and it's now become our show. So massive thank you to you, pal. Huge thank you to you.
Thank you very much. Like, honestly, I couldn't have done it without you. I wouldn't have done it without you two. So I just want to say thank you from my Killer Comics crew heart. Is it that side? It is that side, isn't it? I'm just trying to see if it beats. Yeah, it is that side.
Killer heart.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's another exclusive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just as well, I have control of all the buttons and stuff at this thing.
It is, isn't it?
I still have no control over any buttons.
Well, next year, there's always next year, Tom.
And the year after that.
And the year after that as well. But not, can I just say, Charlie, it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. It's been a great year. And I'd personally like to thank all the people who watch week in, week out. Even if it's on the rewind, even if it's live and comment and like and dislike and all that good stuff. I'd also like to thank Ben for being on the show at the first half of the year as well. Good luck to him and good luck to his channel. And I'm really looking forward to 2022, and I hope that everybody has a fantastic Christmas and a safe and wonderful New Year.
I've just got a second now. I think it's been massive shout out to Ben for being on the Killer Comics show and doing what he did, and all the best to him. Love you, every single one of you in the chat, and I think it's absolutely amazing of what we've accomplished. 50 episodes in, and I think. Yeah, next year is going to be massive for the Killer Comics group. Like, that's not even an understatement. I've got, I'm lost for words at how much we've accomplished this year. And Latoya Morgan, you guys killed it in 2021. Here's to a great 2022. We've got some massive. Yeah, 100%. Come back on whenever you feel like it, Latoya.
Is it Dark Blood finishes in January? Is that right? Its last issue is in January.
Last issue is in January, so
which is why it didn't quite make the 2021 picks.
Yeah,
but by
oh yes,
and by Killer Comics law, you have to come on and discuss the 6 issues with us.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen. But yeah, it's been a fantastic 2021. Looking forward to 2022, and I love the fact that the Poptimist said he was going about an hour ago, and he's still here. That's that's
the Killer Comic effect. So the 2022 is going to be like even some of the discussions that we're having, lads, you know, and the chat and stuff, and the things that we know already is happening in 2022, it kind of feels like the training wheels are off. You know, this was us, you know, getting to grips with things and, you know, getting the show on the road, as it were. 2022 is going to be massive. Going to be lots of, hopefully, you know, pandemic debating whether we get to Comic Cons and stuff like that next year. But I think there's definitely going to be Thought Bubble. I may be going to New York Comic Con next year if it goes ahead, but there's Dublin Comic Con that we're talking about maybe meeting up at and doing. So yeah, it's going to be a really good year.
That just gets bigger and bigger though, because it just keeps doubling every year.
Oh dear! That's it. End the show. Cut him off. Andy, you have the power.
Latoya Morgan just said, issue 6 is last week of December, and I'll come by to chat whenever you want. So there we go. If it wasn't enough that the fact that we've got George Schall and Jeremy Holt coming on, and potentially Sean Murphy, we now have Latoya Morgan wanting to come back on next year, and it's going to be great. And massive thanks to every single one of you in the chat.
Most importantly, we've got Perpetual coming back in the new year. We've got Not Quite Mint coming back in the new year, and we have Geeky Guy Comics coming back in the new year to do another 50 shows for you.
Indeed.
I thought it was about 10.
I'll send you the contracts in the post, but yeah, that's it. Let's let these lovely people in the chat get by. But before we do, let's let everyone know that who won the final killer cover pick of the year. In third place, we have Tom with 8%.
Shut the show.
With Batgirls #1. In second place, we have G.I. Joe #289 with the John Jiang variant cover. And in first place, as it has been for the majority of the year, it's Andy with Batgirls #1 with the Joshua Middleton cover. So yes, Andy, it has been a pleasure. My hat comes off to you, sir. There you go. You can have that.
What do I win?
You don't win nothing.
All the love and attention.
You don't win nothing. All right. You just win the fact that you are a gem with an eye and you know what you're looking out for. So, but yeah.
Thanks.
I don't want to end. I don't want to end this. It's the last show of the year. What am I going to do next Thursday?
Well, why don't we say this, right? We won't commit to another 2 shows to take us to 52 shows in a year, but let's just say make sure that you have subbed up, make sure that you have clicked on that little, you know, dingly bell whenever we do go live, because we might just do an impromptu show. We might go live on Thursday, we might not. We might just jump on and say hello, say Merry Christmas, but we'll be back.
And who knows, you might see us on Panels and Pints on Saturday night. Who knows?
Oh yes. Before that, thank you, Charlie. Next segue, because I've completely forgot. Please go and sub up to Comic Deal. We do the Panels and Pints show. That's where I done my football transfer. I started in Panels and Pints, and then I moved over to the Killer Comic show. I'm basically just jumping to any show that will take, to be honest, but don't tell these guys that. So,
he's been on Not Quite Mint before.
I think I've been on once, yeah. So that's going to be at 9:30 over in Comic Deal's channel. It's not the Panels and Pints Christmas show. And there's going to be myself, there's going to be James and Sean, and whoever else wants to join. So come join us on Saturday at 9:30.
And after 2 hours and 12 minutes, there's 15 people in the chat. Merry Christmas to every single one of you. Happy New Year to you. And Tom, what do we always say?
Stay safe, guys. Stay sexy. See ya.